Hello, everybody. It's your girl, Queen TULSA, and we are back with another live review. Okay. First of all, um, I really appreciate you guys for joining me. First and foremost, if you are not a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel and make sure you set your notifications so you can get every notification when Queen Tulsa goes live. Okay. So tonight we will be discussing Larry Reid and his exclusive. Well, Larry Reid says that, you know, um, no, I'm not going to talk about it. Then he says, "Oh, yes, I am." So I'm going to give you the exclusive on what Larry Reid said. He said the D smelled like pig's butt and Samo.
Pigs, but
So hang tight to your chairs, your wigs, honey. Get your favorite beverage, your favorite chair. We'll be right back.
what's a girl to do? She needs love, some girls need love. Girls can't never say they want it. Girls can't never say how. Girls can't never say they need it. Girls can't never say nah. Girls can't never say they want it. Girls can't never say how. Girls can't never say they need it. Girls can't never say nah. Oh nah. Give it to me like you need it, baby. Want you to hear me screaming, have it breathing. I don't need a reason, baby. I want it till you can't buy. I can get it to you right, baby. I wanna be in your lane. I can be real good. Please don't get these feelings. Hey, I need some love.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming back. I really, really, really appreciate you guys for showing up tonight. And if you guys did not watch, Larry Reid was definitely live this evening, and he was being very vulnerable. And apparently, Larry has saw all of the content that we've been displaying out here. The public's outrage, because my thing is, these are allegations and you are super chatting these content creators, and then you're showing up on their panels and you know not really giving us what we feel like we deserve. As a public figure, I feel like that is your definitely your role. And one thing that really stood out to me was how you will continue to smile and get excited when you are telling that story, because you know that it is a trigger for some people. Because I'm not going to sit here and give you guys my story on my SA or my M case, and I'm going to be sitting here with a big old smile on my face, acting like I'm reminiscing over a steak that I had paid for the other night. You know what I mean? And so when we do talk about trauma, everybody is affected differently by their trauma. I can't take that away from nobody, but I've never, I I just haven't saw anybody that just sits up and get excited when they talk about it. And I think that's like one thing that um really makes me uneasy. you know he smiles and gets excited because the acts gets him excited. It's like the arousement. You would think that this man is telling you about his first love encounter with someone that he wants to spend the rest of his life with. You know, it's the arousal for me. he just gets aroused. And I really want to apologize to any victims that have to watch this and have to be sick to their stomach. You know, I think it's so unfair and it's so unkind for people to handle someone's trauma like it's a bag of groceries. You don't get to just dismiss it. You know, if eating groceries is your thing, that's perfectly fine. If you enjoy it, that's perfectly fine. But it's real victims out here that are crying out and want somebody to believe them. You know, and not to take away from Levantre, Levantre, his story has been very consistent. Has been very consistent. And actually, what I want to know is, Larry, do I have permission to share this with everybody?
Yeah, the apology was probably more for him than me, but I didn't need it. I stopped him. I'd already done the work, so it was.
No, I said, can I share it? Can I share it with everybody?
Not needing an apology is the result of doing the work.
Right, right.
So I say, can we share this? Yeah, you can share this.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, so let's get into it, guys.
Mental issues, psychological ones, because see, let me explain something. My molestation happened at the hands of 6 of my cousins. All of them, except for one, felt like a violation. Now, let me explain this. Now, I'm going to let y'all go with this. I don't know how we got on this, but I'm going to tell this.
You know what, guys? Let me go ahead and let me get you guys relaxed because this is a lot. So give me 1 second. Brace yourselves. Brace yourselves. This is a lot, guys. And all those platforms, Sherelle's World that support Larry Reid are re-victimizing the victim. And I feel like it's not okay. I feel like when one stand up against, wrongdoing, people they have a problem with that. They want me to shut up. But no, you're re-victimizing all the victims. How many other victims it is out there? Heck, we don't know. But what we do know is Larry gets aroused when talking about the acts. And this is a violation. This is something that traumatizes people for the rest of their life. But he's sitting here on a panel in his chair with all his mask behind him, smiling, all while telling us. We have guests in the building. We have allegedly Shady Shannon. She's got the confused emoji. Oh, yeah. Listen, this is something to be confused about, love. But let's go ahead and get into the commentary. Well, for him, this is commentary for him, in my opinion, from observation.
Are y'all ready? You said, boys, you said being a water sign sometimes make you gullible. No, unstable as water. That's what y'all water signs do. But we love y'all. Because that same water is terribly spiritual. I love conversations like this. I just don't like having them in the public because I feel as though some of it's lost. But I have to believe. Let me change that. Let me change my language around that. Okay, I think I just had a thought. Let me change my language around that because in all of the Larry Reid living I've been doing, I have thousands in Patreon who are connected to me in a different way. So let me not say that. I'm having this conversation out here for a reason. I don't care if it's just 5 of you that's going to get on Patreon today. It was for you. So let me have this conversation. Now, this is what I'm about to say could be controversial, and it could be triggering.
All right, so we all get a fair shot, right? And he's gonna brace us by saying, this is gonna be triggering. So, first and foremost, disclaimer, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act. Allowances 1976, allowances made for set. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is use permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing non-profit educational personal use. Tips the balance in favor of fair use. This video was made for entertainment purposes and is transformative in nature. Warning, some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. Listen, guys, I am livid over here. Y'all don't understand what this does. I think some people need to take their eyes off of the person's credentials. Let's do that. Let's look at this as an individual that was violated, that had come out and told his truth. We don't get the right to say, oh, that part of your truth is unacceptable. Allegedly, Shannon says, I'm just shocked because you're always on Cheryl and Sherry's panel. Ma'am, if you had listened here, and this is the problem, allegedly. Listen here. Let me bless you with something right quick. See, you are the problem. It's called sympathizing with a predator. If you want to talk about helping somebody, why didn't they ask him to address the elephant in the room? It was given a tea party. It was given thank you for that super chat. And I'm going to ride for you. I'm going to ride for you. And this is another thing. It's the disrespect that comes from that couple. These people, her husband is homophobic. This is not the first time. And so you got enablers like the individuals that go and coddle them. When this man went left on me and said all those negative things to me, just homophobic slurs, calling me an it. And then you had the rest of the panel to myself, oh, let me have a piece. Talking about the hate crime that was committed against me. That was the same energy that they had when they did that stuff to me. Y'all need to wake up. Wake up. Just because somebody's your fave, hold them accountable. You can have your own opinion, though. Absolutely. I know I can. Absolutely, I can help. Definitely. I'm going to have my opinion. You can have your own opinions, though. Ma'am, you don't have to keep telling me that I can have my opinion. My thing is, let's stand up for what's right. Let's stop making the focus on my opinion. The big picture here is you're supporting content creators that are sympathizing with a predator. That's the problem. Fake recognized face says Larry Reid sounds like his tongue is folded. It's a lot. Listen, he was so aroused as he was telling that story about his encounter and how he was violated. He got so aroused, and that bothered me because you have Cheryl and Perry sitting up here having this man on their panel. For heaven's sakes, they are parents. We've got to protect our children. Tulsa, I don't know that man. Well, you could have fooled me, Shady. I don't care about him. You could have fooled me. I help people every day if you only knew. Well, you're not helping the situation right now. And allegedly, we're not going to make this about you and how you help. If you want to help, I need you to go over there and I need you to come up on this panel. I'm going to drop the link. If you want to help me, here, this is how you can help me. Come up on this panel and hold your leaders accountable. You hold them in high regards. Well, let's hold some accountability. And I'll drop the link. There's a link in the chat. I want people to hold them accountable. This is way beyond. This is well overdue. I feel like they've been got away for it long enough, and it's time that they be addressed. And it's time that they be addressed. Okay, let me read the comments and then we can get into our commentary. She said, when was this? Oh, this was, oh my God, don't make me relive that trauma. It was last night. Hi, MJ, how are you? Allegedly Shady Shannon says, I never said they were my fave. I just peeped over here and saw them in the title. Yes, and this should not be I know you've seen them in plenty of titles. Shady Shannon, I'm not trying to go back and forth with you. I'm just trying to let you all know they are a detriment to the community. This is somebody that has over 400,000 plus subscribers, and they're acting like this. You're jumping to conclusions, but you can do that. How am I jumping to conclusion? You're jumping to a conclusion. Shout out to All About the Tea. She says, I'm sorry you're being discriminated against and treated less than. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. And you know what? I feel like I deserve to stand up for myself. Nobody else is marching around here standing up for trans women like me. There's been a lot of stuff that went on, and I'm standing tall. Okay? Nobody's going to silence me or tell me to shut up. I'm a leader. And I feel like, in my opinion, your faves are sympathizing and giving this man a platform to deflect what the allegations were. They didn't ask him the tough questions. I felt like, Sherelle wants to be on BET so much. She should have given us a Gayle King interview. When she had him on there, because we all saw that live when Larry was on with Storm, Armand, and himself. That was an ish show. I feel like Cheryl could have really picked up the ball and really thrived if she really would have gave Larry Reid a Gayle King interview. I wanted to see the antics. Was he going to stand up like R. Kelly? Was he going to blow up? Was he going to yell into the camera? I want to know, how important is his freedom? How important is his reputation? My Way 23 says multiple sources are reporting NBA All-Star Jay Moore just got it tainted peers. Wow, not sure how to girl. That part. I was only in one chat last night. I don't know what's going on. Well, listen here. It was disgusting, and I'm not going to play that video again. I'm not going to relive in that trauma. Maybe if you tune in tomorrow night, because we have an all exclusive, I'll definitely add that to the show. So allegedly Shady Shannon, I won't do it today, but I'll add it to the show tomorrow. That's what I can do to you. That's a promise that I can give to you. As a content creator, I can show up for you. You see how I just showed up for you? Your faves aren't going to show up for you like that. It's a problem. All right, let me check the likes and see where we are on likes. Actually, guys, I'm gonna run a commercial because we need the likes up. Please subscribe. Make sure you have your notifications on, and ding that notification bell and set it to all so you can get all the notifications of when we go live. And this is just a reminder, this is not the black man's game. This is not the white man's game. This is the money game. Let's get those likes up. We'll be right back.
Anything he want with you, ain't nothing you can do about it.
Money game. This ain't the black man's game. This ain't the white man's game. This is the money game.
Scratching and scrambling most of my days to get where I got.
Not sacrifice yourself. The best thing you can do for poor people is not be one of them.
Now, I eats in the big house kitchen. I got pine boards on the floor of my cabin.
I crumble. My children crumble. My grandchildren crumble.
And it don't take much coughing for the master to make me have a cup of corn whiskey for my medicine.
I cannot, for the sake of my integrity, stand up here and let everybody that's counting on me crumble so I can make a statement.
Now that is fine living for a nigga, and I'll be damned if any African Guinea man is gonna make me lose all I've been working for. Now you take my meat.
There are ways to win the war in a different way.
Better learn. You best learn, or you're gonna get the bloody back for sure.
All right, guys. Thank you for hitting that like button. I really appreciate all the support. Let's see. Allegedly, Shady Shannon says, also, I was very supportive of you. And I always was, even when you mentioned your attacks. And Shady Shannon, if I appear to be coming at you, please excuse me. Because that's not my intention. My frustration is I'm being discriminated against. This is not the first time. They've been misgendered me, and I'm fed up. So I want to apologize to you if I'm coming off uneasy or attacking you. That's not my goal. That's not, if you watch my content, that's not my energy. I don't give it up that way, But what I will say is, let's get into Larry.
Not from, because let me explain something. My molestation happened at the hands of 6 of my cousins. All of them, except for one, felt like a violation. Now let me explain this. Now I'm gonna let y'all go with this. I don't know how we got on this, but I'm gonna tell this. Are y'all ready? You said, boys, you said being a water sign sometimes make you gullible. No, unstable as water. That's what your water signs do. But we love y'all. Because that same water is terribly spiritual. I love conversations like this. I just don't like having them in the public because I feel as though some of it's lost. But I have to believe. Let me change that. Let me change my language around that. Okay, I think I just had a thought. Let me change my language around that, because in all of the Larry Reid living I've been doing, I have thousands in Patreon who connected to me in a different way. So let me not say that. I'm having this conversation out here for a reason. I don't care if it's just 5 of you that's going to get on Patreon today. It was for you. So let me have this conversation. Now, this is what I'm about to say could be controversial, and it could be triggering, but I'm going to say it. Oh, that's my oldest sister right there, y'all. Look. She said, don't tell it, Larry. No, she's always telling me not to do so. You see in my video of advertising of my documentary, she said, Larry always chose the wrong way. I said, your nerve, you ain't do everything right neither. But yeah, it's not.
But see, this is the thing. It's the deflection. It's never, I feel like he's never serious. And these accusations are very serious. These traumatic events that Lavontre Andrews has expressed, we can't knock this man for telling his story. But when Larry tells his story, I want you guys to understand when Lavontre is telling his story and when Larry is telling his story. Hi, Sonya. Sonya says, hello, everyone.
Oldest sister. Y'all used to say my baby sister in the chat, but that's my oldest sister.
So yeah, that's his oldest sister, and she's telling him, don't say
never
it.
Never gonna share names. I never do that ever, never. I was molested by 6 of my cousins, and I'm still making sure I'm saying this correctly because I violated feels better.
All right. I don't think any of it feels good. No, I don't think any of it feels better. It's violated, RM'd, I'm over it at this point. Every interview Larry does, ends up going off track into another topic to deflect from his predatory behavior. And it's like, can we get you to stay on topic for 5 seconds? I mean, like at least 5 minutes. Can we get your undivided attention? All over the place. Starting here, starting there. It's like, what is really going on, Larry? We need we need our questions answered, and we are not looking for a laughing moment. This is not a comedy session. This is a real life situation.
But I'm gonna use the word molestation. But violated feels better. Let me tell you why. Because it was literally, and I'm gonna say it the way they say, I don't care if I lose monetization on this. I dig Larry.
Okay, so I didn't play that part, but what he says is his predator said, lick my Larry, lick my D Larry. That's what he said. That's exactly what he said. And I'm not going to play that. I'm not going to play it on here. But I'll play it on my backup channel. But here, let's get back into it. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Yeah, very unacceptable. But let's get into the content, guys.
And they're forcing their penis in my mouth. And this is in the country we're outside playing. So let me be very descriptive. It tastes like butt. And I'm not talking about are very nice. When you're eating somebody out and it's nicely washed and not that. I'm talking about when something reaches in the inside of the butt and pulls out documents. That's what it tastes like. An ass.
Wow. Talk about pig's butt. Mm-hmm. You know, and no shade to the country folks that eat pig's butt, but this man, I mean, very descriptive. Very descriptive. And he's saying all this with a smile on his face, guys. Oh, yeah. Whew. What are your thoughts on it? Because for me, I feel like this is a mockery, and he's making like a funny about it. And now is not the time to be funny when we're talking about this, right? This was a violation. Now we're gonna run that back just a little bit so you guys can get the context, right? Let's get into it.
It's nicely washed and not that. I'm talking about when something reaches in the inside of the butt and pulls out documents.
Like a chitlin.
That's what it tastes like. An ass. Let me make that very clear. And then the hair around it. We used to go to the Hunter Port Center. Now, if you're not from North Carolina, you never heard of that place. Well, some people outside do because they fly in to get the pork from there because the pigs are out there. There is a distinct stank that is at the Hunter Port Center where they slaughtered the pigs over there, and over here you pack it. It's packaged and take it home to eat it. It's just like this. There is a smell around there. That all the hair around it smelt like the Hunter Pork Center where they slaughter pigs. So I got the documents.
Wow. So guys, what is really going on? What is really like where is this going? What's the end game? You know, I'm a little lost. I am definitely a little lost. What are your thoughts on why do you guys anyways, Larry, go ahead. Yeah.
Onion sock sweat taste in my mouth. And then my nose is smelling slaughtered pigs. And I vomit. You don't forget that. I'm 44 years old. I would never forget that. And so when you were making me do that, and I didn't realize until later up on in life that was doing something to my identity and how I saw myself. And then that ain't it. All the hair around it smelt like the Hunter Pork Center where they slaughter pigs. So I got the Dookie Mix onion sock sweat taste in my mouth. And then my nose is smelling slaughtered pigs. And I vomit. You don't forget that. I'm 44 years old. I would never forget that. And so when you were making me do that, and I didn't realize it till later up on in life that was doing something to my identity.
Well, speaking of identities, he's describing, in that video what he likes to do to young boys, I mean, when you talk about the experiences that Levontre has expressed, there were multiple guys around, we can't discount that. Okay. 6 out of the 7 guys, one of them, I want to know, was he chasing him out in that field? To make sure he would, be able to service him allegedly, because it guys, if I'm veering off, steer me back or ask Jesus to take the wheel. Sonia says to him it probably did, so not going to discount it. She also says some people that it has been done like that will do other people like that. Great point. That's a really good point. Because when he says that, it was 7 cousins, but one of them, it didn't feel like it was anything wrong, and from Levantre's story, the relationship that he wanted, he thought it was, he was innocent. He was a young boy. He was looking for a father figure. And, when the questions come out, when Levontre said, now I'm questioning, am I gay? So that does make me wonder. It does make me wonder. But then another thing that makes me wonder is, why now? Why come out and talk now? You've been on press conferences, you name it. I think this is the energy that we were looking for when you was on Cheryl's World, when you was on Storm's, at his, hole in the wall. I'm not gonna go there, but let's get into this commentary. This is for entertainment purposes. This is for research, and you guys, we really need to really, really, really be careful. We really need to be careful of the perceptions that people are trying to pass off to us. This is a political move. Let's get into it.
And how I saw myself. And then that ain't it. Then how Monique's house would turn around, bend over, pull down the pants. I'm not going to say names. I've done that before within the family and it caused a mess. I would never do that again. It just made the process of healing and working through it worse. I don't even know if I really was looking for resolve in my soul or to just shine light on them. I don't know. But I know this, I won't ever do that again. And we'll bend over. I remember this like yesterday. And would say, lick it. I was a kid, single digits. And I don't know why they chose me to do that to me. I don't understand. I've never understood why. Because there were other ones my age, well, actually only me and my cousin Kevin was the same age. And we were like in between the older ones and the younger ones. Okay, so, but I couldn't understand. And I don't know why. Because see, y'all, I've always been the fighter, but it was this stuff that activated it. Because I can't remember fighting prior to that. Because when I would go back in my mind, not just sitting here at 44, but back then, like when I got like 10, I would go back in my mind. How did you do? Because there were 6 of them lined up, and the other cousins were standing behind me, and I push in my head and lick it. And I had my God. And I had to lick. What you call them? They call them dingleberries, I think. In the booty. And I ever want to taste that. And I don't understand why that toothpicks and the cup stuff. I don't know why some people get off on drinking people's urine and eating their defecation. More power to you, not me.
So yeah, it gets deep. It really gets deep. As you can see, he gets excited here shortly when, it's the last guy. So the first 6 guys, he has all these grievances with them. And on the last guy, it's like, it's like a love story. I think if we didn't know any better, we'd think that he was talking about his ex-love, when it comes to like the last person. Yeah, when it comes to the last person, it really gives off that energy of like, he in some way or fashion misses it, and it's like, I noticed that he'll like close his eyes. I'm not really sure if he's trying to go back in time and savor the moment. But when you talk about trauma, I don't get the right to tell somebody how to, enjoy their trauma, but I didn't enjoy my trauma. I didn't enjoy my trauma that was put up against me. But let's go ahead and continue to let Larry explain, how and why we have grass in our thumbnail. You guys saw why we had the pigs in there. And, but let's get into it, guys.
No. Okay. And then I've always had skin problems. So one of the things, I remember my other cousin, I'm not going to call her name, but they would come down from DC and doing family unit. They would see me on my bike, because I was on my bike on my big wheel. And they would say, get off of that, give me that, face the ground. And so I would put my face in the grass. I remember my mom one time said, Larry, what's wrong? I was little. Your face all swollen, that you getting some grass? And she fussed at me because like, you know how your skin is. But I didn't tell my mama that it was my cousin them that was making me put my face in the grass. My older sister said, tell your story through a movie. And you think I ain't? I'm going to tell all our stories through a movie. All the hours. See, if y'all haven't seen my documentary, my sister broke down and started telling something. That literally stole the show. It was no longer about me. Right. It was horrible, Kendall. And when the next time, I want you to put in the chat next time. Now, this changed everything. This is how this stopped.
All right, guys. If you are enjoying the content, please hit the like button. If you're able to, please send us a Cash App. We are an independent channel, and you know what we got to do. So we actually got to thank you for coming out to the Goddess Queen Tulsa show. But also keep in mind, the Queen Tulsa show is, this is the Queen Tulsa show. Queen is always live in the field. Queen Tulsa is a content personality that's broadcasted on YouTube, Instagram, and other social media. Please like, share, and subscribe to this independent channel for the people. Donations go to building this platform. Thanks for taking the time to watch. Remember to hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons. All right, guys, let's get those likes up. Let's get those likes up and let's go full throttle. Let's get those likes up. Producers, do we need to run a commercial? Doing a check with the producer's head. Security, do we need to press forward with the content or do we need to hold off and get some likes? This is a team effort around here. Is our head security still in here? Sonya Maba, you still in here? And while we wait for that, I want to have a discussion, guys. What bothers and triggers me. Okay, so Sonya says it's more likes and views. Thank you so much. All right, so we are all good, guys. Make sure you go and subscribe to Sonya's channel. Sonya, if you can, drop your link in the chat so the people can follow you. What I wanted to say is, just to anybody out there that has been, taken advantage of against their will or bullied into a situation against their will and being taken advantage of in that type of way. Keisha says, welcome, Keisha. Keisha says, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Now, listen, guys, I want to get some feedback from you guys because I feel like this is an engagement and, I want 19 views and 15 watching. Awesome. Amazing. So do you guys agree with, Larry Reid finally speaking out, and what was it that stood out to you that made you change your opinion on him, if you had, because he's been on these press tours and has been playing around, playing in people's faces, and he makes that very clear that this is something that isn't really serious. He is bent on the fact that somebody's out to get him, But if memory serves me correctly, Levontre wasn't asking for any money. But let's get back into this man and his grass stories and his encounter with his lover cousin, because they loved him. He said, why are they doing this to me? And sometimes, people will paint a story or a picture and say, hey, I love you. And this is why I want you to do this, in certain situations, because people that come forward, that's one of the reasons they say, well, I was forced to do this. I was taken advantage of. And when they are saying that, they are not saying it with a smile. They almost have tears in their eyes as they have to relive that trauma. It's just horrible on all levels. And I feel like him speaking out only confirms, the psychological profile of a predator, because y'all have to understand this. He had ample amount of time to come out and to tell us something. But the only thing he wants to do is Patreon this, Patreon that. But 95% of predators were also sexually victimized. You know what I'm saying? So when I come up to it, my conclusion, this adds more credibility to Levantre's story. It just confirms it. And I've just been sitting back in the cut, minding my business, and also bringing forth the information that I receive. It is a problem. It is a problem. You guys don't understand when somebody comes out and say this happened to me, and then you have the person running around town and speaking a different story and making you look bad and making it seem like you're not, trustworthy, or you're not a reliable source. Well, it happened to him. And this is my thing. It's given me, okay, Tasha has been given, putting out her stories, right? She's putting out these interviews, and that is to inform us. That is for us to say, okay, well, everybody's wanting to hear from these people. Well, now we heard from them. And this is what they said. We don't get the right to tell that woman what she did was right or wrong. I feel like anybody that took advantage of someone without their legal consent is a problem. And I feel like Larry is taking this time out to do a press run, to give, to garner sympathy. He's given us so much details about his abuse, and I feel that's to garner attention. And what other way to do it? Go get some of these people will sit and know that it's something wrong, but because it's beneficial for them, they'll just look right on over it. And if you bring it to them, hi salam, and if you bring it to them, they'll shun you and push you out the way. Don't tell me that. I don't want to hear that. Because they are committed to not wanting to know the truth. Some people are committed to having a misunderstanding just so they don't have to get things right.
This part. They came next family reunion. I said, where they come? So I don't know what was wrong with me. I saw them coming, and no adults was around. So I remember where I was at where we chopped wood at Grandma's house. And I said, well, they're coming. So I got off my bike to basically get on my knees so they ain't got to tell me too many times to face the ground. Something in me was like,
guys, that was a lot. He said that, they would come up and, he had to get on the ground. he would get on the ground, he would assume the position. He would see them coming, he would assume the position. You know, they didn't come up and say, hey, this is what you do. Larry said that when he would see them, he automatically would lay down, get on that ground, and put his face in that grass. Uh-huh. Hey, Norris, how are you? One more again.
Some man was like, I ain't doing this no more. And I've got to begin the ground. There's a good face. I said, I ain't. It break my face out. And my mama was fussing at me because my face been broke out and I ain't doing it no more. Get out, get out. I said, no. I ain't going to. And I started fussing. That was the day my mouth was born. And I was squared off the fight. I didn't fight that time. So, I ain't gonna get into the stories on me fighting and sending people to the hospital as a child. I'm not proud of that, but it happened. And let me get back to it. I remember I said that all that felt like violation, but there was one that was not. And I told this on T.S. Madison show.
Well, see, the thing is, Larry has been watching. Larry has been watching. Okay. And when we talk about, see, he wants to bring T.S. Madison's name up. Why leave that woman's name up out of this? But since you did, there are allegations that when Kaya and T.S. Madison was working together, I don't know if you guys know the popular Queen Supreme Court or the Queen's Court, And you know when T.S. Madison was having that interview with Monique, allegedly Larry was responsible for the media F up. Now, they say Larry is really, really, really interested in, being in that Hollywood, in that sector, And so what I'm getting is no remorse. And I'm definitely getting the cold shoulder due to his response with him excitedly telling everybody about the experiences that he had to endure, in the past.
There's one cousin who was involved in that behind the house but stood quiet. Do you know he started me not doing the same thing, but it was different. He would ask, and I'm like, okay, and he would be like, well, I'll do it to you too. So it was like, you suck mine, I suck yours.
Now, like I said, guys, let's be mindful. We're talking about a violation story, right? We're talking about a violation story. And from observation, this man is very excited. He's very excited It's like, forget those other 6. Let me tell you about number 7. You know, he's like, oh my God, let me tell you about number 7. It feels like when he was talking, I felt like I was on the phone with like one of my girlfriends, and she just got like a new piece in her life, and oh my God, it just blew her socks off, and she couldn't wait to share it with her sis. That's what I'm getting. Am I the only one? I'm trying to figure this out. This is a conversation. Let me see. I'll drop the link if anybody wants to sound off and come up. You can definitely sound off, come up, and let me know what you think about this.
You licked my butt, and I think this is when I became a top. Let me tell you, Lord, and God knows I'm laughing, but this.
But God knows he's laughing. Let's get into that one more time, because this is somebody that was violated. Okay? Somebody that was violated. Let's see, where is the compassion? Like, where are the feelings? What are the feelings?
Behind the house, but stood quiet. Do you know he started me not doing the same thing, but it was different. It was, he would ask, and I'm like, okay, and he would be like, well, I'll do it to you too. So it was like,
so if he would ask, is that really being emmed? Or is it you had a crush on him, you had been chasing him, he was the one that was behind the house. You know where all his movements were? It's, if you listen to Levantre's story, it seems like you were following number 7. You wanted to be a part of number 7's life. That's what it appears to be to me. Let me go get, I know it's about to go down. Let me get ready. Let me get in position. Let me get in position. Oh, here they come. I think so. I think you've been looking at my videos.
Behind the house, but stood quiet. Do you know he started me not doing the same thing, but it was different. It was, he would ask.
Okay, so now he's going to tell us about the new experience. It went from, from one extreme, okay, into now, they're going to move into something else. And it seems to me that he was all game for it. And how he's going to explain it is, I was violated, but I mean, it was a piece of cake. That's how it's coming off. Looking and from observation, that's how it's coming off, guys. What are your thoughts?
And I'm like, okay. And he was like, well, I'll do it to you too. So it was like, you suck mine, I suck yours. You lick my butt. And I think this is when I became a top. Let me tell you, Lord, and God knows I'm laughing, but this is probably true. because he never let my boys. He always had me to the kids. And I remember Mama Nita, was my grandma's mama. She would always be cooking. Them women down there saying they cook 3 times a day. So it's like by the time they cook, wash dishes, it's time to start a whole new meal. So I'm in Mama Nita, I Cleo been in the house. And somehow another day they went and he was like, he laid on the floor and pulled down his pants. He said, come on, get on top of me. I remember this like yesterday. But I was a little boy, so that was about all I had. But I didn't have the mind I had now.
Yeah, this is bizarre and sick from one extreme to the next. Exactly. Shout out to All About the Tea. All About the Tea says, hi, Norris, if you're still in the building. Yeah, he, like I said, he got excited when it was, it's like he was fantasizing about being in that moment. And my thing is, why is it that we have to keep the people that you allegedly did all of that with? Why do we have to keep, why are you trying to keep your people a secret? Let it out. Open the floodgates of heaven. Open the floodgates of heaven. Nora says, hello, All About the Tea.
But I never forgot the feeling. And he had put some lotion between his bread basket. A whole new meal. So I'm in Mama Nita, I Cleo been in the house. And somehow another day they went and he was like, he laid on the floor and pulled down his pants. He said, come on, get on top of me. I remember this like yesterday. But I was a little boy, so that was about all I had. But I didn't have the mind I had now. But I never forgot the feeling. And he had put some lotion between his bread basket. And I laid on top of him, a hairy butt too, which is probably the reason why I don't do that. And said, get on top of me. And I remember, it's like, I must have been topping my soul because I just instinctively knew what to do. And that was my very first time. And I got right on his back. And I remember doing it as a child. I was like, okay, that's good. And that was how.
Okay, when we talk about subliminal messages, this man just said, I remember as a child. It's the subliminal messages for me. It's the, like, this is a circus. I don't feel like people are taking this serious. And this bothers me. Oh my God, that's a lot. Sonya says, welcome everyone and thanks for watching. CJ the cat says, he's laughing. Yeah. Girl, disturbing. But listen, he's connected with Cheryl and Perry and that whole shebang, that those people over there. And this is what they condone. This is what they approve of, This is mama proof for them, Oh yeah. This is so cool for them. Because my thing is, if you are now as a blogger, as a journalist or whatever they want to call themselves, whatever it is that they do over there, Where was the Gayle King interview, Cheryl? You know, you want to be on top. You dropped the ball. You had the meal ticket right there in your hand. You know, you dropped the ball. You know, but I think that we all need to watch our bread baskets now. Because nobody's bread basket is safe. Okay, nobody's bread basket is safe. Um, let's see, where are we? All right, guys, we have made it to the hour. If you would like to donate, okay, yeah, it's 1:11, 1 hour, 11 minutes, and I picked that number because it's a great significance. I love it. 111. I'll post my Cash App. If you guys would love to donate to the channel, you can do so. And while we do that, we'll go ahead and give you a thank you in advance. Thank you all so much for supporting Queen Tulsa, the show, whether it's a like, a share, a subscribe, a Cash App, a PayPal, or a Zelle. Thank you for coming by and watching the show. And this is your commercial for being acknowledged for just being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Without you, who would be watching? Thank you for tuning in. Yes, I definitely want to thank everybody for coming out. I know the show isn't over, but I just wanted to thank you all for coming out. If you have donated to the channel, whether if it was today, yesterday, last week, next year, next Monday, I want to thank you because it's the thought that counts. If you had come by today and liked the video, if you had come by today and got some commentary, if you come by today and, got woken up, it is late evening, but if you are the replay gang or if you're at work, this is great content. Share with your coworkers. Okay, back into it.
Our relationship was for years until I was about 12 or 13 when I got saved at 15. But that relationship didn't feel like a violation. Was it improper? Could it be called molestation? Fine. But, because he was older than me. But I'm from 44, I think. He's about 10 years older than me. Maybe about 7. But that didn't feel like a violation. I remember because
So this is my thing. Were you violated or were you not? Was this like a childish relationship that you had with your cousin and, y'all were in love and, it was a love story, because the way that you get excited and you smile as you talk about him, it gives me, Larry was abused and turned into a predator just like R. Kelly. R. Kelly was sexually abused and grew up to be a predator. The bald head, the people's favorite, the people's champ, I mean, when you talk about the best of both worlds, it could go either way. CJ the Cat says CTV admitted on someone's live to having a sexual relationship with a 32-year-old man when he was a minor himself. He's not much of a credible source. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Because when you talk about being of age now and recognizing, whoa, that wasn't right. Like so many things could have, went left. I mean, when you talk about people and taking them to another state and stuff like that, I mean, you're vulnerable. I mean, that is a vulnerable age, in that time of your life. I mean, you hadn't experienced life yet. You had not experienced life yet, you know? Wow. I mean, but we definitely have to be aware. We have to make sure we are having these conversations with our family members, our children. I mean, anybody. Yes. E, you're in the building. How are you? E, listen, I would love for you to come up. Would you mind if I drop the link? Would you mind coming up? E is in the building, guys. And you know what? I really enjoy E on here. And, because I feel like she brings clarity. And when Queen Tulsa doesn't see something from a point of view, I think she definitely opens me up. Oh, let me see. I've been watching that man on that video. Now y'all got me seeing that she's opening me up. And not in that way, you know? Absolutely. But yeah, let me go ahead and finish this as we wait for. I'm doing homework and I was listening from the bushes. Okay, well, you know what? Um, I would love for you to reach out to me when time permits, when you get a moment on my Instagram. Um, or actually, if you're comfortable, I could drop the show's number and you could text me or however you want to um, communicate. But I would love to visit with you on a personal, like one on one after, not in front of the show, behind the scenes. So, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and drop my Instagram link in here. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I found the Instagram link and let me see if it's posted. And then, okay, there we go. Okay, hopefully you guys can see it in there. Okay. There we go. Okay, let's see. He says, but when I saw that comment, I had to say something. Yes. Mm-hmm. She says, I'll come up for a few minutes. Okay. And then I'll have to drop. You know what? Anytime that you can donate, I really appreciate it. Okay. Absolutely. All right. Let's welcome E to the show. E, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you, Queen?
I am well, thank you. E, before we get started, I wanted to say I really enjoyed you on the show last night. It was a great show. And I wanted to know if I dropped you my information, could you reach out to me?
Oh, sure, of course.
Okay. I'll put my number in the back chat. It's the show's call-in number.
Okay.
But I would definitely want to have you on to give your opinion. You think you could do that for a sister?
Sure.
Because I feel like I want to make things right, and I want to let you know that I do stand for you, and I do thank you for accepting my apology and letting me right my wrongs with you. And I feel like this would be a great opportunity for us to educate and inform the people, because I feel like a lot of people are lost and they look at people for what they have or what they can do for beneficial or for their own reasons, whatever the case may be. But you look at it from a different view, and I love the way that you dissect it and make the story come to life.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, I don't think I'm anything special, but I mean, if you invite me, I'll definitely show up.
Okay, absolutely. Okay, so go ahead and sound off on the comment. I mean, on the show.
Well, no, I literally just clicked on the video because I was trying to put something in while I was doing my homework, and I saw a comment about being involved with as a minor with the 32-year-old. That kind of caught me by surprise. So that's why I said I can't stay up here long because all of my work is due tonight. But I was taken aback by that, and you know, I do find that shocking. I remember when I was in high school, and I remember young men offering me, well, they weren't young men, older men offering me rides to and from school. But I think the oldest one, I think he was 26 or 28, and I was 17. And I was always afraid of older men because the older men that approached me were very handsy. They like to grab my arm. I just felt like I was always uh, put in an uncomfortable situation where I was at a disadvantage, and that played into me largely not being attracted to men. So when I see, people say that they were with these 32-year-old men, and that's a point of view. It's alarming because
Yeah.
it's like, what is a 32-year-old man doing with a child? Essentially, to me, 16 and 17, even though I thought I had the wherewithal to proceed and navigate in the world, well, looking back, I realized I was dumb as hell. So we change, and if you live long enough, you realize that you will evolve and you will get smarter. But even me being a young woman, I don't find teenagers attractive. There's nothing in me that says, let me drive by the high school and give somebody a ride. Let me offer them a ride. To me, that's what Larry does. That's preying on innocence. And I just think people like that, they need to be in jail. I'm sorry, I can't put it on. Don't you think, or am I reaching?
No, I feel like everybody involved needs to be held accountable. And I just feel like when these people are sitting up here enabling someone to, come on their platform and not really address the elephant in the room, it's like, what was the point? You could have saved that,
Hmm. I agree,
you know?
but
But thank you for letting us, thank you for giving us more information to work off of. I guess we can look at it as a good.
yes, but I will. I guess you said that I could text that number, or do you want me to call it, or do you want me to message you on Instagram?
Yeah, hit me on Instagram and then we'll bump it from there because I'm really on Instagram. That's the show's number, and I don't always have it connected. But I wanted you to have both because we're going to eventually be using transitioning from that for as far as communication.
All right, perfect. So I will follow you on Instagram, and I will send you a message, and we will talk later. Thank you, Queen.
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you for what you're doing for your community, our community, and your community where you stand, and keep thriving.
All
Black
right,
girl,
thank you, baby.
you welcome, babe.
Bye.
Bye. You know what, guys? It's all about us. We can all thrive in the community, you know, but we also have to be able to hold each other accountable, you know. But one thing that I'm just still having a hard um oh, this is a hard pill to swallow, guys. I mean, when I think about how joyful, this man is singing like he's in a concert, like it's Sunday service, the praise and worship. The way that he's giving his testimony, you would have thought that he found the love of his life. He found his niche. He found his niche in the process. Let's get into it, guys. Brace yourselves.
Remember that I was in between the ages of the young ones and the old ones, and I remember being on the basketball field when the old ones would come because I was good at shooting. So they would throw me the ball. I wasn't great at dribbling, but I could shoot. That's because my sister Nelda and she played basketball, and everybody played basketball. You know, so we had a basketball goal at the house, so we had to know how to shoot, especially to play horse. Do y'all remember playing horse? And that got rough because I was little as it had knocked me down. And I remember that particular cussing. Someone said, Patreon. Good, let me tell you something. You right, this is Patreon conversation, but they go in there and take stuff out the Patreon when it's like this and manipulate and make up stuff, so I'm gonna make it easier for them. And so, I remember going and they skinning my arm, and he was like, why y'all do that to him? And went to fussing, and when got something out the house, he was caring, which was also different because my granddad treated me like I was the best thing in the world. And he was like, that's why his picture hangs right over here over my bed. It's a picture of him, me, and then me as a little boy. You know, I think that makes me emotional. Because I remember one time when it was happening in the garage under Mama Neatha's house. Grandpa was a prophet, but it was not a word that they...
So he was under the house, you know, making a clap for his cousin that, you know, he gained feelings for, it sounds like, you know. It's like he could just put all that aside and love his cousin, you know? But you know what? The thing is, we don't get the right to tell somebody who they can love, you know? I mean, you know, really seems like his cousin brought him out. You know what I mean? And when you talk about a man that is very excited, he said, I found myself. I'm a top. Oh yeah.
Well, maybe not 7. And but that didn't feel like a violation. I remember because remember that I was in between the ages of the young ones and the old ones, and I remember being on the basketball field when the old ones would come because I was good at shooting. So they would throw me the ball. I wasn't great at dribbling, but I could shoot. That's because my sister Nelda and she played basketball, and everybody played basketball. You know, so we had a basketball goal at the house, so we had to know how to shoot, especially to play horse. Do y'all remember playing horse? And that got rough because I was little as it had knocked me down. And I remember that particular cussing. Someone said, Patreon. Good, let me tell you something. You right, this is Patreon conversation, but they go in there and take stuff out the Patreon when it's like this and manipulate and make up stuff, so I'm gonna make it easier for them. And so, and I remember going and they skinning my arm, and he was like, why y'all do that to him? And went to fussing, and when got something out the house, he was caring, which was also different because my granddad treated me like I was the best thing in the world. And he was like, that's why his picture hangs right over here over my bed. It's a picture of him, me, and then me as a little boy. You know, I think that makes me emotional. Because I remember one time when it was happening in the garage under Mama Neatha's house. Grandpa was a prophet, but it was not a word that they called him. Grandpa came out of the house like over there, Larry, hollering. His voice would echo and fill up the whole area. They said that he had the gift to throw his voice, but I don't remember experiencing that. They said he can be in one part of the house and throw his voice to another part. And that happened so many times, and I would say, Grandpa! And I still got my high voice if I lift my voice. Grandpa! And hours somewhere because he had me chopping wood. He worked me like a slave, like his wife did, grandma did, until I moved. And this particular time, I didn't send it back. And I remember us being in the barn, and we froze. And Grandpa walked from Grandma's house, beeline. It's like he knew. Walked all the way across the yard and walked straight to the barn and opened it. He didn't say nothing to them. He just said, Larry, grab my arm and pull me out. And until he got sick, me and that cousin could never do nothing again because Grandpa wouldn't let me out his sight. Would never let me out his sight. So this is the reason my bed ain't made, y'all, and this junkie over there. But look up there to the top. Let me see if I can get you see.
Larry, you don't have to show us pictures. Just stay on topic. Stop buying time for sympathy. This is not about your grandfather. This is about you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. What you've all been waiting for. The one, the only, my co-host for the evening, Monopoly.
Hey,
How are
what
you?
up? I'm good. What's good with you?
You know what? I'm disturbed.
Put me on. What happened?
So listen, Larry Reid went live today and he goes in to let us know about his encounter. I mean, he's on there. He's so excited when he talks about, having to being bent over and, sharing favors. I give you top, you give me top. It's a lot. It's a lot.
When did he say all this?
Oh, let me give you a little recap. Would you like a recap?
Yeah, hit me.
All right.
Ended up with more mental issues, psychological ones. Because let me explain something. My molestation happened at the hands of 6 of my cousins. All of them, except for one, felt like a violation. Now let me explain this. Now I'm gonna let y'all go with this. I don't know how we got on this, but I'm gonna tell this. Are y'all ready? You said, boys, you said being a water sign sometimes make you gullible. No, unstable as water. That's what y'all water signs do. But we love y'all. Because that same water is terribly spiritual. I love conversations like this. I just don't like having them in the public because I feel as though some of it's lost. But I have to believe. Let me change that. Let me change my language around that. Okay, I think I just had a thought. Let me change my language around that because in all of the Larry Reid Live I've been doing, I have thousands in Patreon who are connected to me in a different way. So let me not say that. I'm having this conversation out here for a reason. I don't care if it's just 5 of you that's going to get on Patreon today. It was for you. So let me have this conversation. Now, this is what I'm about to say could be controversial and it could be triggering, but I'm going to say it. Oh, that's my oldest sister right there. Y'all look. She said, don't tell it, Larry. No, she's always telling me not to do so. You see in my video of advertising of my documentary, she said, Larry, I always chose the wrong way. I said, your nerve. You ain't do everything right neither. But yeah, it's my oldest sister. Y'all used to say my baby sister, but that's my oldest sister. No, I'm never gonna share names. I'd never do that ever. I was molested by 6 of my cousins. I'm still making sure I'm saying this correct, because I violated feels better. But I'm gonna use the word molestation. But violated feels better. Let me tell you why. Because it was literally, and I'm gonna say it the way they say, I don't care if I lose monetization. It was suck my dick, Larry. Put it in your mouth. And then forcing their penis in my mouth. And this is in the country we're outside playing. So let me be very descriptive. It tastes like butt. And I'm not talking about a very nice, you know, when you eat somebody out and it's nicely washed and you take, not that. I'm talking about when something reaches in the inside the butt and pull out documents. That's what it tastes like. An ass. Let me make that very clear. And then the hair around it. We used to go to the Hunter Port Center. Now, if you're not from North Carolina, you never heard of that place. Well, some people outside do because they fly in to get the pork from there because the pigs are out there. There is a distinct snack that is at the Hunter Port Center, where they slaughtered the pigs over there, and over here you it's packaged and take it home to eat. It's just like this. There is a smell around there. That all the hair around it smelt like the Hunter Pork Center where they slaughter pigs. So I got the Dookie Mix onion sock sweat taste in my mouth. And then my nose is smelling slaughtered pigs. And I vomit. You don't forget that. I'm 44 years old. I would never forget that. And so when you were making me do that, and I didn't realize until later up on in life that was doing something to my identity and how I saw myself. And then that ain't it. Then behind Monique's house would turn around, bend over, pull down the pants. I'm not going to say new names. I've done that before within the family that caused the mess. I would never do that again. It just made the process of healing and working through it worse. You know, I don't even know if I really was looking for resolve in my soul or to just shine light on them. I don't know. But I know this, I won't ever do that again. And we bent over, I remember this like yesterday, and would say, lick it. I was a kid, single digits. And I don't know why they chose me to do that to me. I don't understand. I've never understood why. But there were other ones my age, but actually only me and my cousin Kevin was the same age. And we were like in between the older ones and the younger ones. Okay, so, but I couldn't understand. And I don't know why. See, y'all, I've always been a fighter, but it was this stuff that activated it because I can't remember fighting prior to that. Because when I would go back in my mind, not just sitting here at 44, but back then, like when I got like 10, I would go back in my mind, like, why did you do it? Because there was 6 of them lined up, and the other cousins were standing behind me, and I pushed in my head, saying, lick it. And I had, my God. And I had to lick. And what you call them? They call them dingleberries, I think. In the booty. You just not ever want to taste that. And I don't understand why that 2 ticks and the cup stuff. I don't know why some people get off on drinking people's urine and eating their defecation. More power to you, not me. No. And then I've always had skin problems. So one of the things, I remember my other cousin, I'm not going to call her name, but they would come down from DC, and during family unit, they would see me on my bike. Cause I was on my bike on my big wheel. And they would say, get off of that, give me that. Face the ground. And so I would put my face in the grass. I remember my mom one time said, Larry, what's wrong? I was little. Your face all swollen that you getting some grass. And she fussing at me because like, you know how your skin is. But I didn't tell my mama that it was my cousin them that was making me put my face in the grass. My older sister said, tell your story through a movie. And you think I ain't? I'm going to tell all our stories through a movie. All the hours. See, if y'all haven't seen my documentary, my sister broke down and started telling something. That literally stole the show. It was no longer about me. Right. It was horrible, Kendall. And when the next time, I want you to put in the chat next time. Now, this changed everything. This is how this stopped. This part. They came, next family reunion. I said, oh, here they come. So I don't know what was wrong with me. I saw them coming, and no adults was around. So I remember where I was at where we chopped wood at grandma's house. And I said, oh, here they coming. So I got off my bike to basically get on my knees so they ain't got to tell me too many times to face the ground.
All right. So from hearing that Monopoly, what are your thoughts? What are your feelings?
Oh my God. That was disgusting. That was nasty. But was that the same reason why he felt like what he did to Levante was okay? Was that the same reason that gave him idea that he could manipulate this young boy and get away with it? Was that what gave him the audacity? You know what I'm saying? Because that all that shit he was talking about was disgusting. Or what is he trying to buy sympathy for the fact that I think he's kind of saying, yo, this happened to me. Because he said, I'm 46 years old and I'll never forget that, right? The same way Levante is how old, and he ain't never gonna forget that, right? So he understands that some of the stuff this boy is saying is true. And the boy ain't never gonna forget that, just the same way he ain't never gonna forget his own situation.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's like he is pretty much it's given the R. Kelly, you know. It's given R. Kelly. You know, R. Kelly was abused as a child, and then look at the accusations and look where he is present day. But then you have to understand this, enablers. You know, people want to use the church, you know, as a shield, you know, to do their malicious acts and things. You know what I'm saying? And I really feel like this wasn't a, you know, a traumatic story. This seemed like an erotic novel.
I mean, six of them? 6? Oh, wait a minute, y'all. Is that the reason why he always got a 6 in his number for donation? Could that be?
Well, you know what? It was 6 that was, you know, that did what they did, but it was 7. And this one particular dude, the last one is really, oh, we got to let you hear some more, because he'll let you know about the 7th dude and how they are connected, you know. And you know, 6 is a demonic number. You are totally right. What do you think about that? he's always saying six, it being demonic, and then you hearing that recording.
Yeah, but I guess he got some demons living in him because he always put that number 6 up there every time he's asking for donation on his live. There's always a 6 in his number, like $66, or he'll be like, send $6.99 or something like that. Like he's always like, nah, that was weird that really happened to him, and the fact that he didn't feel protected when it happened to him, right? So he knew. I think he went off the experience to do what he did. I even furthermore believe that what he did to that boy is valid. He did it. He did it.
Yeah, 6 is a demonic number. And, Larry, you made a very important point. Larry is seeking sympathy. This is like his sympathy tour now. He done, allegedly paid. Well, he's done cash. I mean, he didn't super chat at everybody's panel that he had been on. So it only spews a narrative of, when he says, well, I took care of you, I clothed you, I did this, I did that. Well, it sounds like that you would throw your money up in his, allegedly in Levantre's face too. I got money, and that's what predators do. They have these shiny, little bracelets or this shiny chain, and they say, oh, I'm gonna give it to you. But it's like a teasing session. I don't know. Feel me. Feel the rest out, child. I'm
Yeah, because look, he said to that boy, oh, I'm going to pay you a little money for you to play music or whatever in the church, and he cut his money off. What did he say? He didn't gain nothing from that. His cousins didn't give him anything when that happened, did they?
You know what? See, that's the thing. He wants to explore and let everybody else's funk out their laundry. But that's the thing. He wants his family members to be, oh, no names this. Oh, no names this. No, we need the same energy that you have for Kirk Franklin and everybody else that you was blasting. And I feel like another thing and why he's being able to be on these platforms, and they are with the demonic situation too. Everybody he super chatted supports him. He uses his money to dominate and manipulate, and it's very clear.
Not only that, but he also said that it did happen. He said it did happen to Levantre, but it wasn't him. So who was it, and why are you protecting them?
Well, look at it like this. When the devil is out to kill, steal, and destroy, he is going to go for the weak, right? He went for Sherelle. He went for Storm. He went for Armand, etc. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to go to a platform where they stand for something and they're not falling for the little coins that he sends from his television, from his telephone. You know what I'm saying? Those super chats and stuff, people get won over by money.
With what you just said, it kind of brings me to on my platform. When I posted this, somebody was saying in my comment section that, oh, why is TULSA coming out now and exposing him after they've been friends? And kind of going off of what you said right there, he can't manipulate TULSA with money. He can't do it. And these are the people, they need the money. So like you said, they'll do anything for this little cash. But, they say these motherfuckers will sell their soul for money. And this is what we're seeing in real time right now. They're selling their soul for actual money. And we already know, Storm says it. He is a part Satanist or devil worshiper or something like that, he says. So I won't be surprised. I mean, it's expected, right? It's expected that he's gonna, none of this stuff here that happened is godly. None of the stuff that happened to him is godly. Did he seek? Okay, so let me hit you with this other point, right? You think he's saying that this happened to him right now, and letting us know that, yo, it happened to me, but I didn't seek any monetary compensation or any criminal charges against these people? Is he trying to deter what you call it, Levantre, from seeking any justice or any monetary gain, any civil act against him? You see what I'm saying? So he's trying to buy sympathy at the same time he's trying to be abusive. You see what I'm saying? Like, what is the reason for him coming out and telling us all of this now? Like, what is the reason for you saying all of this now? It's got to be a motive behind it. It's got to be a motive, man. This man, I don't think he does anything from the bottom of his heart anymore. I think he's way past that level where he even has any consciousness. I think he does things to be conniving. So there has to be something behind this right here.
Exactly. There's a saying, vengeance is the Lord's, vengeance is not mine, it's the Lord's. But I feel like, let's not, he's been trying to put God in this. We're gonna not put God in this. First he didn't know Levantre, then he knew him, then he had relations, but Levantre was 17. 17 is not legal, you know?
Yeah, 17 is not legal by far.
Storm of Satan
17
is.
is a little
What
boy.
the fuck, girl? Let me get my holy water. Hold on, girl. Hold on, girl. Honey. Yeah, I was needing the holy water, honey. I'm sorry. Yeah, some holy water. Can you get some
You
water?
need that Florida water.
Yeah, can you get a bottle of water and pray over it and bring it to me? Because things are really getting hot. Things are really getting heated up in here. This is a lie.
So now that he's come out and say this, what's the name? Southwest Atlanta over there, Hood Rat, aka Cheryl, aka Sherelle, whatever she want to be. What has she got to say about this now? I mean, when something like this happens to you, and he says all of this, did he say how he found some healing, how he went and got himself taken care of, checked out, anything? Did he say anything like that in this video?
Well, let's get into the video.
Some man makes it look like I ain't doing this no more. And I've got to begin to ground. It's a good face. I said I ain't. It break my face out. And my mama was fussing at me because my face been broke out and I ain't doing it no more. Get out, get out. I said, no, I ain't going up. And I started fussing. That was the day my mouth was born. And I was squared off the fight. Like that. So I ain't gonna get into the stories on me fighting and sending people to the hospital as a child. I'm not proud of that, but it happened. And I get back to it. Remember I said all that felt like violation, but there was one that was not. And I told this on T.S. Madison's show. There was one cousin who was involved in that behind the house but stood quiet. Do you know he started me not doing the same thing, but it was different. It was, he would ask, and I'm like, okay, and he was like, well, I'll do it to you too. So it was like, you suck mine, I suck yours. You lick my butt, and I think this is when I became a top. And God knows I'm laughing, but this is probably the truth.
So Monopoly, what do you think about that?
Man. Yo, what I'm trying to figure out is what is the reason? Like what is the reason? I'm telling you, that this nigga got something to gain off all this. What is the reason? It's got to be the buy sympathy, because the way he's dragging this nigga online right now, I don't think he can take it anymore. So he wants to buy our sympathy. So he's pandering to our emotional sides to try to empathize with him and what he's gone through. But at the same time, when he's telling that story, and he started laughing when he started saying, that this nigga wanted to reciprocate the actions that were being done, he started laughing like it was funny. I didn't see him feeling any emotional damage, any hurt by it. It seemed like he was comfortable with this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right. He's pandering for sympathy. And I just feel like a lot of people, they fall for it, and that's why we're live tonight to bring awareness to these individuals that are giving him a platform to come on and make a fool out of us. You know, it's just another manipulation tactic.
And this is on his platform. He was saying all this.
Oh yeah, that was on his platform. Uh-huh. You know, and people in the chat were saying, take this to Patreon, take this to Patreon. But see, you got enablers saying, take this to Patreon. We, you know, it was our people in the chat saying, take the, get off live, in the live. Stop talking. No, you know, trying to save him as though he is the victim.
First of all, what them people got to realize is he didn't take it to Patreon because he probably lost money in Patreon. You see what I'm saying? He didn't take none of this shit to Patreon because he probably lost money in Patreon. So ain't a lot of people coming and paying for that shit. You know what I mean? So what the hell he gonna take it to Patreon for?
Well, you know what's really disturbing is, you know, okay, let me just take a deep breath because I'm trying to stay calm as I am, you know, reporting on this. But it makes me so, it just makes my rear itch when we all know Sherelle and Larry is insulting our intelligence, you know. You know, for the people that's woke, we know that, you know. Sherelle and Larry insulting our intelligence like we don't know what they're doing. And people, wake up. They are insulting your intelligence. They are saying that you are a stupid individual and that you don't know what's going on, and you're going to let the madness get in between your support for them. That's not okay. This is not back in the day. What are your thoughts?
No, they ain't not. The thing is, they're not fooling nobody though. They're not fooling nobody. Like you said, they're definitely not fooling us. We are aware of what is going on. You see what I'm saying? So now we're not buying that shit. Fuck that. I'm not buying that shit. Take that shit to Patreon. There ain't no money for him to take over there. Nobody coming over there to pay to watch all that shit. Majority of people already believe that he's guilty of the accusations that's being levied against him. See what I'm saying? So fuck that shit. They're not fooling no fucking body. Fuck that. Don't nobody. Why do you think that she has gotten off that topic so quickly? Because for one, it didn't bring her a lot of views, and for two, she has to make some views. So she's now on the case of Jaguar Wright and everybody else who's against this nigga. She can't. What's she gonna put? The person that put this shit out is Tasha K. Why is everybody not having Tasha K on their title? You don't want to play with fire, you gonna get burnt. Period.
I think you make some very valid points. You know, it's them fake church people that, you know, want to listen to Larry's porn. That's why they screaming to take it to Patreon. You know what godly people is going to be saying, oh, let's take this to Patreon. You got all, I mean, they're in their church dresses, big hats, you name it. I mean, the lady damn near ripped her stocking, her pantyhose, trying to push people out. Like, come on now.
Where did this happen? Where did this happen?
You know, and the thing is, Larry said in court docs he makes $120K a month on Patreon. You know what I'm saying? And he said he get over 75,000. He got over 7,500 subs. You know, who paying $12.99 a month? Really? Like
that 120K probably went down to a little 75 real quick. That 120K probably ran all the way down to 60K real quick. That's what he ain't gonna tell us about.
Yeah, I have the court documents. Absolutely.
It's not. He probably ain't even making 120K. He probably was over there really making, 85, and that 85 really doubled down to fucking 40 real quick. And he couldn't take it. So take what the Patreon. What are you gonna take? Don't nobody want to hear this man keep on lying. When he first tried to, if he would have made one video trying to defend it, but nah, bro, it's too much irrefutable evidence against you. And the shit that he's saying, oh my God, that is damning. You're basically telling us, yo, this shit happened to me, so I did it to somebody else. Oh fucking well.
But you know what? I think that Real TV, actually, Melanie, I am going to play the T.S. Madison interview. I will be doing that. Real TV says Larry Reid is also manipulating his own experience to proclaim his innocence by saying if he did this, why, um, hold on, let's see, by saying if he did this, why LV filed charges against him. Whole oxymoron. Okay, so I guess, why didn't LV file charges against him?
Against LV being Levante.
Levante.
The statute of limitation, I think, is already way past now, right? For him to file any charges, right? For one, but he can't come to him for civil action with mental distress and emotional distress and all that good stuff. But then again, it's probably the fact that the man don't even want his money because he's not gonna have no fees with his money. I keep trying to remember the other case that happened. There's a pastor that did the same thing to two kids and they sued him and they won. They won, but they didn't want the money. They wanted the downfall of this nigga because they say it hurts. They don't even want the money. They want to give the money back. They would have gave the money back to get a criminal charge, but they can't charge him criminally now. It's too late.
Right. So Levante did file, and there's a police report. He filed a police report in 2017. So he did document, with the in Charlotte, the Charlotte North Police, Charlotte, whatever their damn department is down there, the Charlotte Police
Charlotte
Department.
PD.
Yeah. The case is still open. And that was that case right there is for the R word. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to play this off. That's why I said, Sherelle and Larry and Sultan are intelligent. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't see what they're both doing. And it's not funny. It's not cool. And I think that, if he does go down, Sherelle needs to go down with him for setting him up there and letting him re-traumatize the victims.
Leave Sherelle alone. She doesn't know what she's doing. They don't know better. You know what I'm saying? If she knew better, she would do better. But I don't think she knows any better, right? So she's just being a follower, not a leader. So let's have some mercy on her soul because she don't know any better. If she did, she would have done better.
Exactly. But they're giving him a platform to spew his lies, and she knows better. A woman of her age and the way that she carries herself or portrays herself, see, that's the difference. How you carry yourself and how you portray yourself. She portrays herself as an upstanding woman that, she has, she's a mother. So she makes it seem like she has these standards, but it seems like as the story goes on and on, she's making herself look like a fool. And that shit will backfire. You know what I'm saying? And she needs to be accountable.
Yeah, she does need to be. She does need to be held accountable for her actions, and I think that's us watching. That's us taking a seat back and watching less of her and her shenanigans, right?
But she outright said that she believes Larry. Come on now, people. We gotta. Those people in those chats, they have to wake up.
Yeah, that's us. That's us watching. That's us watching less of her and her bullshit, right? And she says she outright believes him, but we know she don't. She honestly probably in her heart of hearts don't even believe the shit that she's saying. She's just saying whatever to hear herself, or maybe she's just doing what she got paid to do, what the money is worth. That's about it.
Right. So do you want to hear the rest of Larry, or do you want to hear this T.S. Madison interview?
Go ahead, hit me, whatever you got. Let's finish up. Let's finish up with Larry first before we go into confirming whatever he says there.
Got you.
Because he always had me to the kids. And I remember Mama Nita, as my grandma's mom. So it was like, you suck mine, I suck yours. You dick my butt, And I think this is when I became a father. Let me tell you. And God knows I'm laughing, but this is probably true. Because he never let me go. He always had me to the kids. And I remember Mama Nita, who was my grandma's mama. She would always be cooking. Them women down there, they cook 3 times a day. So it's like by the time they cook, wash dishes, it's time to start a whole new meal. So I'm in Mama Nita, Cleo been in the house. And somehow another day, they went and he was like, he laid on the floor and pulled down his pants. He said, come on, get on top of me. I remember this like yesterday.
What the hell about a sexual assault experience?
That was about all I had. But I didn't have the
You know
mind I
what?
had now. But
Did you?
Yo, what is wrong with this man? Is what I want to know, man.
He said, "Ha ha!"
Yo, like, what is wrong with him? Yo,
You know, Monopoly. If you asked me, he enjoyed it.
that's what I'm saying. He's telling us he got traumatized, but I don't hear the trauma. It's hard for me to feel the pain for you when you ain't showing me signs of hurt. And like you say, he probably enjoyed it. And his cousins probably felt comfortable doing this to him because he was exhibiting homosexual tendencies. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just really it's disgusting all the way around. It's like it was somewhat of his plan. Exactly. I feel you, but in my opinion, it was like it was somewhat of his plan. He was rooting his booty, you know?
Yeah, like, or maybe I think he was proud of the conquest of,
Uh-huh.
maybe he was, attention craving. He's attention seeker. He seeks attention, and which I think is really his main problem. He's an attention seeker. So for him to get that attention, and he probably ain't never got that much attention in his life, it got him very excited to get that type of attention, unwarranted or warranted. But that him laughing at that is no there's no fun. There's no funny in that situation, bro, at all.
Right. I mean, you would have thought that he was doing, you know, a remake of that Rooted and Tooted or the Rooted and Booted, the Rooted and Tooted, like it was just something to do to toot your rear up. You know, you're telling us in one instance that they made you bend over, and then in another segment, you saying that you was waiting, you was ready, you saw them coming, you got right on down, and you was ready for them to do their things. And he's always licking his lips. I mean, all the time, you know, and he was tooting his booty up. Let's just be honest. As he's saying this, and as he's going through in his mind, he's just it's like a love story, in my opinion. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's like a love story, like you said, and I think he, in his mind, he is really competing with Levante on what happened. When he's saying, well, what happened to me is far worse than what happened to you. Well, look at what happened to me, and the fact that, but his thing is that he might have actually enjoyed what happened to him. You know what I'm saying?
It's giving me, well, Levante saying that it happened by one person, and six people did it to me, and then the seventh person, oh, he was special, and let me tell you about it. Oh my God, let me lick my lips. Let me toot my booty. And yeah, so the last guy, he was standing behind the house, and he really just taught me about myself. He told me to lick him, and he never ate me, and that's when I had a problem. How you having a problem with an act that is not supposed to be going on?
Be that, but yo, what kind of childhood did y'all have that all the kids in y'all neighborhood was just doing some gay shit? Yo, This seems like a generational thing. It didn't just start from Larry and his little cousins. It's been going on. It seems like something that been going on in that family with the uncles and the aunties or whatever, doing stuff to kids that are inappropriate. This shit, it didn't just start. It didn't. It didn't just start. They said, nah, he was a fake, recognized fake.
You
He
couldn't
wasn't. He
fool
wasn't
me.
enjoying. He wasn't enjoying it. Bruh, come on now. Show me the trauma that's in the conversation that you're having when you're having it and you're smiling and kikiing like it was okay that it happened to you. And like you said, that last person, it's almost like it was special to him. That nigga was special to him.
Yeah. And my thing is, where was your parents? You know what I'm saying? Like, because he tells a story where, you know, it was an act going on and his grandpa had came out to the barn and rescued him, and he never let them get close to him ever again. And now he holds a photo of his grandfather in his room. But child, you know, it's Monopoly, you're right. You know, this sounds like some generational norms in his family. It just gives me how, you know, why wasn't nothing reported? You know what I'm saying? If this, I mean, this is such a holy and sanctified family, you know, who was really being held accountable, or how many times did they sweep it under the rug before it got to him?
That's really what's going on in my mind. It seems like this has been happening in that family, and it's been getting because one, two, three, four, five, 7 kids. That's too many kids to feel comfortable with something so disgusting. So it means that it must have been probably going on to them. Uncles probably touching them in their own private lives, so they felt like it was okay to touch other kids. Now the predator, the prey always becomes the predator. The prey always becomes the predator. History always repeats itself. This is what we're seeing. History repeated itself when Levante ran across Larry and he couldn't help himself. And he went ahead and did what he did because he knew he could have got away with it. The same way that 1, 2, 3, 7 people, that's a lot of people, man. That's a lot of people. That's too many people for me.
Yeah, it's totally given, you know, the a setup gangbang, you know. Um, you know, when you talk about back in the days, you know, trains and stuff, you know, I remember, you know, hearing about trains and, you know, it's it's I don't know how to respond to him when he is telling his story this way. Am I wrong for that?
No, man, you gotta, that's the problem with us. We don't like to take shit at face value. Sometimes you gotta take some things at face value, right? He's sitting here talking about this happened to him and that happened. Like you said, it's too many kids. That's giving very much gangbang. And why are all these kids thinking about homosexual things? As young boys, they grow up to start being attracted to young women, and there is that 3% of them who are going to, be in homosexual activities. But it seems like every kid in your neighborhood was down with the homosexual activity. Bruh, what was going? Where did he grow up again?
North Car- North Carolina. But you know, yes, Monopoly, the prey becomes the predator. And this is definitely what it is given. You know, the prey has become the predator because when you talk about the covering up, I mean, it's like it's with the 6 people or 7 people, that was an organized crime, right? We got key word organized.
Yeah, yeah, it was organized. All them kids had that conversation, came in cahoots with each other, say, "Yo, let's get Larry to do this." All of them had that conversation, and I also think that he's probably coming out and saying this so Levante, because guess what? He can't have a direct conversation with Levante now. Levante don't want to have a conversation with him, not even by a long shot. And that's him saying, "Hey, look, bro, this happened to me too. So I think you need to chill out and kind of calm down and just let it be. It happened, it happened. But is the I'm sorry part that Levante really wants and he's not getting. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what the little boy really wants is the apology. I'm sorry I fucked you over because I was fucked over. So instead of him saying that, he's just saying, yo, look, I was fucked over. So, he won't say the part that maybe I took advantage of you just like I was taken advantage of. So he's just gonna say, hey, look, I was taken advantage of. Maybe you can find some endearment in the fact that I was also a victim just like you. And you can, just say, bro, you need to ask for forgiveness. I think what's really going on is that his conscience is eating him up too. His conscience is eating him up too. And the public and in the public in the public opinion, in the court of public opinion, he's guilty as shit.
I agree. There's some sick secrets in that family, and there's a lot of holes in the story. I mean, when you talk about that country life, sometimes that sometimes happen, and it's like I've being a survivor, I don't think I've encountered someone that was just so happy about what happened to them until till I ran across Larry, because that's the way that it comes off, and it's like a broadcast, and it's like with the energy with Balenciaga and these other big name people that support this rhetoric. Maybe he's trying to get an endorsement deal from them.
My bad. Hold on a second. What I'm saying is this, right? Why is BET all mushmouth about this? Why are they so quiet? Why they haven't said anything yet? Why they haven't turned this dude down? Why they haven't canceled him? Is it because there is no proof to this? But the same thing happened with T.I. Or because BET loves the drama and it's bringing more views to their channel right now, bringing more views to them right now. When the same thing came up about T.I., his shows got canceled. All his shows were canceled. Everything. So much so T.I. is still staggering to come up.
Well, listen here, I'm just gonna be honest. Maybe he's getting some help from his friends that's behind him in this photo. But Larry's reaction is definitely not normal. And it
Oh
makes you
no, that is not. There is nothing religious about those masks. Those are the gods of Africa. Those are idol worshiping gods. That has nothing to do with the living God that lives up above. Those gods have a name. Oh no. There's nothing godly about those. Oh no.
makes you wonder, was he the victim or was he doing this to his cousins? You know what I'm saying?
Where are these cousins at? They need to come up and say something.
Yeah. And I was looking at it, I said, those masks do look demonic,
Listen, you can only get that from Africa, and those are different deities. That's what those are. Those are different deities. There is no way you're worshiping two gods at the same time. So what they say about false prophets is that these deities, they give them God and make them look, present themselves like they're godly people. But really, the powers that they're getting are really from these deities that they're getting them from. This is what you're seeing. I didn't know that was behind him. That's still, I put my stamp on it. That man is nothing godly. He is doing some hoodoo somewhere in the background. He even said it with Storm Monroe about hoodoo and voodoo in Santa Maria. They was discussing that in that confrontation. Look at this man. I can probably bet y'all $1 that this man has an altar in his house. And in the Bible, it says that there is no idol worshiping, and wherever they idol worship and they have their gods by the trees, that we need to knock them down. Those gods are shaped by that is not art. That is not art. Y'all not be fooled and think that those things are art. Those are entities and those are deities. That is not art. That's not art.
Oh wow, yeah, those masks are they are, demonic, you know. In my opinion, no real church pastor would have the mask around him. Um Jeffrey Dahmer had a demon altar also. Did you remember that?
Refresh my mind.
Child, I didn't watch the movie. I'm gonna be honest, but from reviews, people said that he had an altar. He was into that, you know. He
Oh
was.
yeah, didn't he used to skin their faces and wear them and all kinds
Uh-huh.
of weird stuff?
Yes, and put him in a freezer and stuff. The head, and in his closet. But those masks shut you right on up, girl.
Listen, oh no. I'm gonna say what the fuck I gotta say because greater is he that lives in me than he that lives in the world. I read my Bible every day faithfully when I wake up in the morning and when I go to sleep. I give due to God because he's the only one that I can and I know. You see what I'm
Exactly.
saying? I
Uh-huh.
am I'm closely related to this and my mother had to fight for us not to be inducted into this. You know what I'm saying? And I understand what comes behind all of this trauma and pain. No, that mask right there, there's nothing godly about that. What does he? I want to ask, does he preach his gospel when he does that behind those things, with all those things behind him? Or is this another part of his house where he's showing us that we've never seen, which could probably be the room where his altar is in?
You know what? I've never watched him do that, but I know that he said that he was going to have somebody come on and tell us about he said the African art, but this is the thing. I know it's nothing nice about those masks because my friend told me that, Jeffrey Dahmer had pulled out a demon altar from his closet. You
There
know,
is nothing. There is absolutely nothing about. There is nothing. It ain't nothing. Absolutely. There is art, and those things behind him, they are not art at all. That is not art. And why they all mumbled up in one place? You could have spread them all across your house where they could look at this one from over there. They could look at that one from that angle, from the east angle, from the north angle. That things are together in that one room where their powers are stronger. You know what I'm saying? It's like the power of three. And with these African deities, they don't just have one. They have a bunch of deities and they do different things. You see what I'm saying? That's what that is.
the first time I saw those masks, I thought the same thing. And he's always wearing them shades like Jim Jones, the cult leader. Those masks have living spirits in those. They just
Mm-hmm.
look real. I mean, just looking at it, it look like it like they, like they just real people.
Mm-hmm. It look like one of them things. You catch it the wrong way, gonna look like that thing is damn near screaming at your face. If you catch them things the wrong way, you're going to piss your pants. Okay? You're gonna piss your pants like the guy. Not Larry talking about it smell like a pigsty. Mm-mm. Mm-mm, Larry. So that's why you made Levante go down there? Because you didn't want Levante to smell that you smell like a pigsty, so you had to do it to him? Disgusting. Or did you remodify your situation? Instead of you telling him to give it to you, you gave it to him. Hmm? I mean, there's so many ways we can look at this shit here, bro. Either way I look at it, nothing of them tells me that Larry is innocent of what he's being accused of.
Right. And I think that really nothing has really been done yet is because, he's probably getting on his knees and praying in a mask.
Yo, yo, nothing has yo. This nigga, you know they say that a hit dog will holler. If the
Yeah.
dog ain't hit, he ain't gonna holler. This man been hollering about this whole thing since it was said. What is this now? The fourth time he said something about it, the fifth time, the sixth time? God damn, we losing count. Tasha only said three things about it. God, you running down the whole world talking about it everywhere you go. A hit dog will holler. If it don't apply to you, you let it fly. When he came out there, like you said, he was embarrassing all these leaders, saying all the stuff about Kirk Franklin and all them other preachers. Didn't none of them say nothing about him. They didn't holler because half of the stuff he was probably saying, it probably is true, it probably ain't true, right? But they're not gonna make a fool out themselves because they're not clout chasing. They're already a household name. This nigga here is not a household name. Come on now. I didn't know Larry Reid until he came on Tasha K's platform to expose Kirk Franklin. See what I'm saying? So he's hollering. A hit dog will holler. This nigga sound guilty as charged.
If he was innocent, his lawyer would be doing his talking. But it's like this right here. It makes now that you brought all those excellent points up, it makes me wonder what. Oh my God! It
If
makes
he was innocent, his lawyer be sending out cease and desist.
yeah, and he
Tasha K would have
keeps
been the
hollering.
first one.
Yeah, and he just keeps hollering. Like you said, a hit dog will holler. He's keep hollering.
Yes, he's trying to spin the narrative whatever way he can. At first he came out, I didn't do it, I didn't do it, I didn't do it, I didn't do it. The second he came out on Storm Show, he said, oh my God, I might be gay, I might have sucked a little dick in my life. He went on this lady's show, he said, well, I didn't do it, but bad shit happened to me. And now he's coming out talking about something, well, look, this happened to me, and it was far worse than whatever he said happened to him. So what are you comparing traumas now? What are you comparing traumas now? Come on now. That is a hit dog hollering right there for y'all who don't understand. That is a hit dog hollering. That man, he's been running from platform to platform to platform to platform to platform to platform. Jesus, Larry, talk about something else, bro. Talk about something else. As a matter of fact, you said you had shelters and home for adolescents and stuff. Bro, where are they located? Because I got some kids who need help. So I could direct them over there to you. I mean, I'm scared. But, nonetheless, what are the positive things you're doing in our community? You need to be shining more light on those positive things. Come on now, he hasn't shown any light or any positivity in his life. As a matter of fact, it seems like he is, how the pigs will go in mud and they'll roll in mud?
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny that he brings that word up because he is rolling in the mud of all of this. Okay? He is literally rolling in the mud of all of this. He is not even trying to produce anything positive to try to get our heads off. He is actually indulging. He's jumping into the bathwater with this shit. This nigga here is a piece of shit, in my opinion.
What to do? And that was my very first time. And I got right on his back. And I remember doing it as a child. I'm like, okay, that's good. And that was how our relationship was for years. Until I was about 12 or 13 and I got saved at 15. But that relationship didn't feel like a violation.
He got saved at 15. That went on, and he got saved when he was 15. Didn't Levantre say that it happened when he was 15?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into it.
Was it improper? Could it be called molestation? Fine. But, because he was older than me. But I'm from 44, I think. He's about 10 years older than me. Maybe about 7. But that didn't feel like a violation. I remember, because remember that I was in between the ages of the young ones and the old ones, and I remember being on the basketball field when the old ones would come, because I was good at shooting. So they would throw me the ball. I wasn't great at dribbling, but I could shoot. That's because my sister Nelda and she played basketball, and everybody played basketball. So we had a basketball goal at the house, so we had to know how to shoot, especially to play horse. Do y'all remember playing horse? And that got rough because I was little as it had knocked me down. And I remember that particular.
Okay, so we heard that part I'm just going to speed it up a little so then we can roll over to T.S. Madison's video. But we've heard that part, where he got so excited and he found out that he was a top, and being that his cousin put him through those experiences, he finally found his way through life and what he'd like to do in these type of acts.
Grandpa! And he would meet me at the wood pile or somewhere, could have me chopping wood. He worked me like a slave, like his wife did, grandma did, until I moved. And this particular time, I didn't say nothing back. And I remember us being in the barn, and we froze. And Grandpa walked from Grandma's house, beeline, just like he knew, walked all the way across the yard and walked straight to the barn and opened it. He didn't say nothing to them. He just said, "Larry, grab my arm and pull me out." And until he got sick, me and that cousin could never do nothing again because Grandpa wouldn't let me out his sight.
What are your thoughts?
Grandpa was wondering why they always in that damn barn. Grandpa was wondering why all them boys, all them children, was always in that damn barn with the door closed. Grandpa probably thinking they ain't there smoking some reefer. But I'm sure that wasn't what Grandpa found when he found that. And it didn't tell me that Grandpa yelled at any one of them kids. Grandpa only pulled them out and didn't do nothing to them kids, which means this is a family thing. Grandpa, God forgive me, who knows what Grandpa had done to them kids. You see what I'm saying? Who knows what Grandpa has done to those kids' parents? Because he probably felt in his heart like, damn, this is, I put these kids through this now. Look at my grandchild going through it. Because there's no way as a man you see some disgusting shit like that and you just as guilty as the motherfuckers who's doing it. If you don't speak up.
I totally agree. It was like, oh, okay, y'all got him, but y'all not gonna get him no more. And you bet not tell nobody. I mean, was there any consequences and repercussions? If it was Larry, then who else was it? How many other family members was there? Who was all around?
He said, me and that cousin couldn't do shit no more because Grandpa won't let me out his sight. It seemed like, for one, what I hear from that statement is, for one, the cousin kept coming around. For two, Larry was excited to go do some more stuff with the cousin. For three, Grandpa didn't mind that the cousin was around. For four, in total, there was no consequences being brought on nobody.
Yeah, the family secrets, and who's to say, let's just say Jaguar, put it out there that Goomba was conceived through siblings. Is any of that going on in the family? But we'll never know because, they're always, let's put it in a book, or, it's let's talk about it, but then deflect and go the other route. Let's take this exit.
Excuse me, y'all. I'm over here munching. I just picked up my food. If we had access to internet and social media in the 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s like we do now, oh man, a lot of shit won't be hidden like it is now. As a matter of fact, some of these older people will take a lot of nasty shit to the grave with them because it's just that disgusting.
Let's get into it.
Would never let me out his sight. So this is the reason my bed ain't made, y'all, in this junkie over there. But look up there to the top. Let me see if I can let you see it. This is a picture of him. Let us stand on my bed. You see? And see, I got that gray patch. When my hair grow in, I got that same gray patch. Yeah, so Some of you, this may be the first time hearing my story, but I've told this story so many times. I've
Hey,
told it
Diane.
all my years of
Hey,
pastor. Anybody close to me, they've heard this story, they know this story, but a lot of you haven't heard it like that. And I don't know how we got to that today, because that was not the plan. But I feel like maybe somebody's getting helped. I feel like I'm helping somebody. And I think that I was supposed to tell it publicly right here. And I don't know the purpose. I mean, because as you can see, I have worked through, and it was very difficult. One of the cousins that I was discussing called and asked me for $1,000 loan the other day. And I said, no, it's not a loan. You can have this.
Thoughts, Monopoly?
Not that he gave him some money. Is he trying to encourage Devontae if he needed money, he need to ask him that he still give it to him? Does this sound like coercion to me, or just anybody else just think I'm bugging out? Because it sounds like coercion to me, bro. Or he trying to, like we've been saying, this man buys everybody with his money. Or he's trying to buy this little boy and say, you know what, if you kind of need money, I'll still give it to you, even though you violated me, even though I feel like you're violating me going online, talking all this shit that happened between us. And why do you feel so comfortable with this cousin after he violated you? You cannot, excuse me, you cannot heal in the same place your trauma was caused. This man has clearly not healed. And ain't nothing to cut him off. It says in the Bible, if your right hand is going to stop you from getting to heaven, chop it off. So you're still holding on to the same people who has hurt you. What, did they apologize for hurting you? That's what I said, right? In the beginning, I asked you to, so I said, what type of healing did he do after this happened to him? How did he heal himself, or he just came out and say, oh, I'm saved? You know what I'm saying? There is a lot of hypocrisy in that shit right there.
I think you make some very good points. And, when we think about how, Levante, expressed that they speak in codes, or they would communicate in codes, you know what I'm saying? I feel like he's trying to give Levante an invitation. That was come get some money. That was the code, because they communicated through codes, right? And in
Yep.
that, with all those masks, that's actually in his bedroom. So you might be right. You might be right about that altar being nearby.
Yes, he's in bed with these demons. And he keeps operating. If he reaches out to Devontae, he risks Devontae going and telling everybody, look, he's hitting me up. So he rather Devontae come to him. You see what I'm saying? So he can look like, oh, even though he hurt me, I still forgive him. Nah, nigga. Ain't for yo, no. Like, no, that boy, that man, he's a man now. He's not gonna hit you up. And he wants some damn justice. He wants some justice, man, but he doesn't know what that looks like. I'm sure he wishes he could lay his hands on Larry and put the hands of Holy Ghost on him. Or maybe he could take him back to kindergarten and put head, shoulder, knees, and toes all over him. But he can't do that because he's probably gonna face some criminal charges. So he wants the downfall of this man. Like, he literally wants to see the downfall of this nigga, like, all the way. But I don't think them deities that's around him is gonna let that happen, because he's probably praying and making extra sacrifices. BT ain't said nothing yet. BT ain't dropped in yet. They probably blind to all this shit right here because he's praying to all them gods.
Yes, indeed. I wouldn't put any of that past any of them in his circle. That Shamarco, which is his right hand man, he has a lot of information. And Larry is still prancing around town like everything is good. He's, like you said, with the deities and worshiping and fanning it, or whatever he's doing with them in that room, and sleeping with them. But I
Yeah.
do.
My bad. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that I just still don't think that this is fair for him to be taunting and still trying. Now it seems like he's chasing out the Levante now, so he can get him to come and ask for some money so he can do an aha moment. See, I told y'all,
You
you know,
damn right. He's throwing money around like it ain't nothing. We calculated Storm, Amar, Sherelle, all these people he paying for interviews. He throwing money around like, look, I got it. I got it. If money is your problem, you come get some. You know what I'm saying? Just shut up about it. But the thing is, Shamako, with him and Shamako is when you've known somebody for so long, you
they're
know where
lovers.
all you know where all their skeletons are buried. You know what I'm saying? If Shamako was to come out and say anything about him, he probably got 20 more shit he could say about Shamako right now in one in return for one. He knows all his secrets. And Shamako probably did this to other kids. But you know this thing, right? I was watching this thing about how these pedos they have a site where they communicate in the deep web that they post and brag about their deadly shit, that darkest shit. These serial killers that they post pictures of their murderers and boast about braggings and killings and rapes and child molestations and all that stuff. They post it and they brag for each other like trophies and stuff. They keep trophies. That's why a lot of them take trophies after every act to show for it. You see what I'm saying? So it's probably a thing of that. There's a circle. They have a circle. Everything has a circle in life. Football players, basketball players, there is a circle. You know what I'm saying? So they're probably in that circle. So Shamako ain't gonna say nothing about this shit because if he say something, all his fucking closet, all his secrets gonna come flying out the closet. So it's best to shut the fuck up and keep it pushing. And whatever benefit he's getting to protect, Larry has made it now. So he's getting benefits from that. Why would he want to ruin that? It's always about money for these motherfuckers. They have no moral value.
I totally agree. And, Shamarco and Larry are lovers. Just from the information that I've been seeing, Larry finding his wife, hooking them up and things like that. Like nobody is gonna have that much control with me and who I lay down with. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, Larry thinks he can solve every problem with money, and then when you talk about those circles and things like that, I feel like um he's a part of the rich pedo circle, and just like R. Kelly's circle protected him for years, it's like I don't know, is I mean, is out with the old, in with the new. I mean, is there like some type of rich? Is he going for the R. Kelly? He trying to go for that type of stardom.
Well, look it. For you to become a part of this circle, you have to show proof of some heinous act, which means they have to have a secret over you for some shit that you did, right? They have to have a secret over your head for you to even enter this building where they do their rituals, do their ceremonies and stuff like that. They have to have your shit too, an archive of your bullshit, right? So that way they know you ain't just coming in here trying to snitch on nobody for shit that you did. Everybody takes a fall. That's why a lot of these people, these upper echelon people, when stuff like this come up, they don't want to come out and say anything because they want to protect their own bullshit too. And Shamako, they probably over there soliciting young men and doing and having all kinds of fun or whatever they doing. So, we don't know. But Larry has to keep up. Let me ask you this. Is Shamako ever married a woman?
Well, allegedly, Larry found him a wife where he had hooked them up, because that was their vibe over there. Larry was in control of who was with who and who could sit where and what time you could eat or if you could ride in the car today or not. They really didn't have a say so over their everyday life, seems to me, because it was the control, because they said that he would bring up the fact, and he has to, he would put food on the table, he was clothing, he was paying bills, and he was financing everything.
It's giving very much cult leader vibes. That's what it's giving up. My loyal subordinates, and I'm supporting y'all. It's giving very much pimping hoes. Come on now. We're not blind to this bullshit, man. I refuse. And in the name of Jesus, if he ever sendeth any attack on one of us, it ain't gonna work because ain't no weapon formed against me shall prosper. They ain't even molded that weapon yet. That weapon has not come into existence yet, and it shall never. So all the
Amen.
stuff he's doing, he is trying to convince the people that are weak-minded and are of the world. I am not of the world. I am a living servant of God. I am one of God in God's image. I am here to speak the truth. However that shit comes out, it's gonna come out, and truth can hurt. It can hurt. But the world that we live in now, you look at it, people don't care about the truth as long as the lies are entertaining. They don't give a fuck about the truth.
Exactly. He's pretty much a paid yes man.
I have done all of the work, and I don't have nothing but love in my heart and peace in my mind. And I believe that this year, because I showed y'all the 5, it was a 5 pattern all the way up to 223. This is a 5 for me. And this has been happening since 97, 98. I think this is, I know it's a pivotal year according to patterns. And by the close of this year, I feel like there is something very big and enormous that is positive and life-changing that is going to happen to me this year. And if you are in covenant with me in Patreon, it's going to hit your house too. Because all these changes that happened in these years, 1997, 98.
So if you in here in this covenant and you donate, it's gonna hit your house too. I don't want them damn spears over here. No, ma'am. I'm glad I watched this video because no, ma'am. And oh, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. Did you just hear that, Monopoly?
You know that these deities, they will reward their subordinates with, if you do the shameful act, we will reward you with this, and it's all riches and gold, right? What it sounds to me like he's saying there is he's gonna get rewarded because they had promised him that if he speaks up and uphold the abuse and spread more of the abuse and make it sound normalized and okay that it happened or should happen, that it's okay. We're gonna reward you because in all of this conversation, he keeps talking about how he likes to suck dick and how he like to eat ass and nasty, dirty ass too, dirty, stinking ass, stinking booty, pigsty ass shit. That is, and in all of this conversation, we hear him. He never said that for once that it was okay. He never said that it's not okay that he got violated. He said that he got violated, but he didn't say that it's not okay that he got violated. You see what I'm saying? You got to listen to what people ain't saying. It's not what they're saying, it's what they ain't saying. He never said, and he actually felt like he said the seventh lover, he actually felt at that point that it was okay. He embraced it at that point. Nah, buddy, I'm not buying none of this shit they talking about. I'm not buying none of this shit he talking about. I sure don't want no blessings from them because it's gonna come with a downfall. Who wants to have a blessing and you walk around with your face down because people telling that you're a child molester and you're this and you're that? That's disgusting, bro. Like, come on now. Who wants that type of shit? Don't nobody wants that type of stigma on their name.
God is Larry's cover to hide his demonic pedo life, And I really feel like Larry is a true wolf in sheep's clothing because when you talk about, these preachers and just how they roll, I've never saw a pastor get, this is a lot, and it's like, wow, he's out here worshiping demons, but you know that's that right there is tough.
2003, 2007, 2008, 2012, 2013, 2017, 2018, now 2022, 2023. I feel like all of you're going to have that experience.
Call him down for your free territory team.
Did they ever apologize? He tried to, and I stopped him. I said, you don't have to. I didn't need it. Do you know when you do the work, you don't need the apology? You forgiving trumps the need for apology. When you really do the work and you forgive, that's for you. You do not need an apology. I'm not saying he shouldn't have apologized, but I didn't need it. And I stopped and I said, I don't need it. And then that threw us into a conversation. He began to tell me about his trauma. I said, oh my Jesus. I said, I'm so glad I wasn't mad at you. Because now I understand it.
Okay, so pretty much he's not mad at his cousin because his cousin had a trauma story. And so he says, I'm not mad at you.
How could he be mad at him? What he's trying to, I think he's trying to coerce this little boy that he shouldn't feel the way that he does. That listen, that this has happened to all of us, and you should, quite frankly, just accept it and move on with your life. If you need some money, I'll give you some money. Whatever it is you need, I'll give you some of it. But the thing that comes with all of this shit is that he said that he has peace. When you have peace, you don't bother. And he's bothering explaining too goddamn much. That doesn't seem like somebody who's at peace. You see what I'm saying? You coming here telling us something happened 44 years ago, 30 years ago. It doesn't seem like you have peace with it. The same way that we understand that Levante is speaking up about what had happened to him because he ain't got no peace with it. Come on now.
Well, it just seems like this seems like a Lifetime movie. You know what I'm saying? Like you have this guy that did this to you and he's in a better space financially, right? And you want him to accept accountability and right his wrong so you can close that chapter, in your book and move forward. But he wants to sit up and dance around on YouTube and send you kites like y'all in prison, sending subliminals,
Yep.
you know?
Yep. Yep. He wants to sit around here and roll in the dirt of it all. And roll in the dirt of it all. You're talking about when you do the work. Okay, Larry, tell us what work did you do after all this shit happened to you, bro? What work was it that you did? It doesn't sound like you did any healing because all you did was go ahead and dish out the same bullshit that you got done to you. You dished it out to other people. You know what I'm saying? And half of it, man, I'm telling you, bro, if half of these other people, he probably got them in their pocket right now so deep, buying them stuff and making them look the other way and not say nothing about it because of money. It's all about the money. And no, there's not 1 ounce of godliness in that man. I don't know why he's even speaking. But you know what they say, right? There is no peace for the wicked. He ain't got no peace. That's why he keeps talking and talking about this. He ain't got no peace. He's not getting rewarded by God. He's getting rewarded by them deities that he's worshiping. That's the only person who prides in him coming out and saying stuff like, yeah, I give fellatio and I got good at giving fellatio. It's almost like he's taking pride in the fact that he's good at this stuff. You see what I'm saying? So when they was violating you and he also said, oh, I didn't get good at it because I was just giving it was these dudes. So you're telling me 6 of these dudes that was abusing you, you was giving fellatios, you wound up liking the stuff that you got good at it. Why they kept coming back for more? Come on now, somebody make it make some sense. It's not making any sense.
Well, it's giving me that, he was missing his fix. He started off as being a submissive and being told what to do. He never speaks of therapy, which makes me question the role he played in the alleged abuse by his 6 cousins. But it just seems like is staged to make him the victim. Okay, I had 6 people on doing whatever they was doing, and then a 7th person. But when we get around to that 7th person, it's like, well, how is the 7th person exempt? You know, How does that happen?
Hey yo, how is the? Please riddle me this. How is the seventh? I don't know. You tell me. Riddle me that because I don't know. I don't know how that makes the seventh person makes it not a violation. Yeah? How does the seventh person makes it not a violation? And then there's 6 people. Why are there's too many kids, man? There's too many kids. What they wasn't getting their dick sucked by some little girls and all them little thoughts in the neighborhood. They had to choose a little boy to be digging in his booty. Come on now. Something must have happened to them little kids them damn selves, right? Granted, he said that they had traumas too, and then they did that, and he didn't seek forgiveness because he actually liked them. He probably liked what happened to him. He might have not understood himself back then. He was probably very flamboyant. He was giving out very much bitch vibes, and that happened. So as he got older and he understood himself, he enjoyed those acts. He enjoys those actions. I mean, come on now. And where are these cousins? Because I want to talk to them.
Yeah, it makes me think, was he an active participant or was he the perpetrator with number 7? And we'll just say number 7. Larry said on one of his lives that he liked the abuse he experienced, so it's not far-fetched when I see him now on this interview and he's smiling, it's like he's telling us, about his meal. He's given us it was the best thing that happened for me. That was the energy that I got from him. He said the words right out of his mouth, that he liked the abuse that he experienced.
He is glorifying these things. He's glorifying them, which in return his deities are going to reward him for glorifying sinful behavior, because it's what they do. So they're like, man, we're so proud of you for going out there and expressing that you're a man of God. And I'm telling you, if this man still has a congregation after he did all of this stuff, and he comes out and says all this stuff, and he still has a congregation that believes that he's a man of God, and I hope he's not in that church preaching against homosexuality, for one, because that'd be very, very hypocritical. Because he can't say now that he even said it, that he's still attracted to men up until now. So this is not, you're not talking about, oh, I'm a straight man and they just accusing me. You're actually saying, yes, I'm a homosexual that's being accused of homosexual activity. Come on, man. We're not blind to this shit. We're not blind. You got the interview he did with T.S. Madison?
Oh, yes. So let me go ahead. I got the interview up right now. And all your feedback, I mean, I totally agree. And the way that we are, we're not bashing nobody. We just saying, like, step up to the plate and look at what's really happening. Take the blinders off, take a deeper dive into the story, because it's all the information is right here for us all.
Yeah, and all the stuff that I'm saying is stuff that he said out his own mouth. This ain't something somebody said to me and I made this known. He said this stuff out of his own mouth. That man has no peace. He's talking about he has no peace because a peaceful person won't even bother. I won't even bother.
Right, what you saying? I know he's a he. Is it on?
Your sense to me.
Because the Bible say about the homosexuals, but I be trying to tell the children that the King James Version was written 2 or 3 times, and ain't nowhere in the book that it say anything about any guy. Hey.
Well, King James was same gender loving himself.
Well, actually, it was King James' daddy. That was same gender loving.
Okay.
See, I studied the Tudor dynasty. Come on, prophet. I studied that.
What did you say? You said, come on, prophetess. What you say?
Come on, prophet.
Come on, Prophetess Henson.
Everybody shot till I be shot. EBBDOC.
Oh,
What if I need to ban them? I want to know about. Do you know why I need to ban them personally?
yes, I do.
So can you give us a little insight since we got the church on the line? If the street committee want to know, the street committee want to know whose panties was moved around in the box. Did her panties get prayed over before she went down there to the hotel room?
Well, it was her assistant who is a former lesbian. Her assistant is the one.
She's a what?
She's a former lesbian. That's out. That's on the
How
internet.
can you
I'm
be a
only talking
former
about
lesbian?
what
Like
is
she's
public.
retired.
It's
Like she's
public.
retired.
No,
Her pussy retired?
it's public. She says that she's no longer a lesbian, her assistant. So her assistant is the one that put out her panties and her bra. It was her that did it. And they allege that the pastor came in there and saw it. But the reality is the pastor didn't even walk in that part of the suite and he didn't see it. I interviewed him on the show and he never saw him and his wife. And her assistant called into the show and then they got in a fight. The reality is this: Juanita Bynum went live blaming the pastor that he saw her bra and her panties when he did not see it, and she had no evidence and no proof. Period.
So you say her ex-assistant, the ex lesbian,
It's her assistant. Yeah.
Oh, they had some business right there.
But you know what? Juanita Bynum said herself. She called into a radio show, and allegedly, this is when her former girlfriend. Allegedly, her former girlfriend said that she was going to kill
Craig not buying this story.
I'm not. What you say?
I'm just waiting for y'all to finish. He's not buying this story at all.
That's what she went on a radio show and said herself that she used to sleep with men and women. Juanita Bynum said that herself.
I was waiting for you to.
So just so you know, we don't get strikes. Hopefully Maddie won't strike us because this isn't informative. So just from the energy of the panel, when we talk about somebody not telling the truth and something not making sense, Craig the writer Stewart, planted himself in that chair. He turned because things weren't making sense. How do you think that the interview is about to go, Monopoly?
Man, they're not buying none of that shit. They're not buying none of that shit. I think it's cap. Somebody is capping. There is a lack of honesty there.
Get to that part.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that section.
Yes, she said that. And I'm only saying what's out there in the public. This is not something I know, from knowing, from talking to her. This is just because of what is in the public. She said that in her own voice, and her assistant said it in her own voice that she's a former lesbian.
But the church folk that are former LGBTQ, they're usually the ones that go the hardest on our community.
Larry, are you former LGBTQ?
Who you talking about, Donnie? You talking about Donnie McClurkin?
Larry,
I'm talking about
Larry, are you Larry, are you former LGBTQ, Larry?
No, I'm not former LBGT. I just found out about. I really got educated through Maddie. No, I'm not.
Larry, let me ask you a question. Would you get your dick sucked by a man?
Oh, somebody shoot me right now.
Well, it's hard to say because I actually have. But I got to explain it. I got to explain it.
I have one question. So not only have you had your dick sucked, but have you ever put your penis in a gay man? No, you don't have to explain. You have to explain. So look, here's the question. So not only have you had your dick sucked by a man, but have you ever put your penis in a man?
Yes, but let me explain.
Let me explain.
Okay, but while you explain, I'm gonna go over here.
You are former LGBTQ.
I understand. Whew. What are your thoughts, Monopoly?
He said that he wasn't. He clearly said that he wasn't former. He didn't say that he. He said that they asked him, "Are you a former LGBT?" And he said no, which means that he is still. And when was that interview? That he did that interview with them?
This interview, this timestamp on the video is, let's see, 3/26, so March 26th of 2020.
Okay, so then even then he said he wasn't a former LGBT member of a community member. In the interview with Storm, he just said that he's attracted to energy. He's attracted to both male and women, but he's attracted to more of energy than anything, right?
Right.
So in none of this video has he ever denounced that he was homosexual at all. As a matter of fact, in both videos, he actually went forward and said that he has indulged in homosexual activity and he's actually good at it. And he was actually good at it. So come on now, make it make some sense. He actually said that he was good at it. So no, this man is a gay man, and we just need to call it what it is. And he's gay, and he did what he did. You know, Larry was never this cute until he got a little.
You sound a little muffled, Monopoly. I'm sorry.
Oh, hold on 1 second. Go ahead, talk.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go ahead and play this interview, guys. What we're doing right now is watching the Maddie in the Morning Show interview with Larry Reid. This was on March the 26th of 2020. We're doing research, guys. We're doing research. So stay tuned and hit the like button, share this video, and if you're not already, subscribe to the channel.
Find out what's going on with Boosie. This gonna answer Boosie question. You gonna find out what's going on with Boosie when he's playing.
Let me explain.
When did you retire?
Look, though.
Let him explain.
Let me explain. Now, those that follow the platform know my entire story. I've been very open about it.
Well, come on. They don't know your story.
I don't know your story.
We open up here. We open here.
From earliest I can remember, and I've said this on how many interviews, the earliest thing I can remember as a child, the first thought is the smell of another man's crotch.
Oh.
Because I was consistently and repeatedly all the way up until 12 years old. Actually, I was just turning 13.
Oh.
Over and over with of my cousins. Two outside of them, 2 of them were female, but the other 6 were male. And so that happened to me all of my life, all the way up until almost 13 years old. So
what was you smelling crotches happened all your life?
No, I was forced to give fellatio. I was given fellatio.
Okay,
and I actually, one of them that was I'm not gonna put their name out there because they have a family and everything now. And
you don't need no more lawsuits.
And I was
able to talk
from over there.
I was able to talk to him and kind of find out the same thing was done to him in our family. See, our family is full of preachers and prophets and musicians. And I didn't know that was going on in the family. I thought it was just me and a couple of more that told me as I got older.
Monopoly.
Not the PPP.
Monopoly.
Not that our family is full of the PPPs. Ha! What we sitting here talking about? For them kids to feel comfortable to do that, it must have been a family thing.
We did.
Yo, Tasha K is witty as fuck. And she does her research. This man said it's full of preachers, prophets, and predators, allegedly. You heard that?
Mm-hmm. I did. A whole line of them.
Oh my God. And the cousin told him that, yo, it's happened in that family. Who was it? The granddaddy that saved him and didn't do nothing? Huh?
Right.
Huh? Did granddaddy touch me?
You know what?
Huh? Yo.
Wow.
Crazy.
Did Grandpa set that up so they can break him in so Grandpa can do what he wanted to do allegedly?
Yo, he said it. My family is full of them. He didn't say that it happened to him. He said that it happened to him in our family. It didn't happen to him outside of the family. It happened to him within that family. 6 of his cousins, family. Oh no.
Let's get into it. We're gonna run that back so you guys can catch this hot tea. Okay.
They have a family and everything now, and
you don't need no more lawsuits.
And I
was able to talk
from over there.
I was able to talk to him and kind of find out the same thing was done to him in our family. See, our family is full of preachers and prophets and musicians, and I didn't know that was going on in the family. I thought it was just me and a couple of more that told me as I got older. But
so how long? Hold on. How long has it been since you was a former LGBTQ member?
And here's the addendum to his question. And were the times that you performed fellatio only when you were a minor, or were you of adult mind?
Oh, I was no, that's not at 12, 13 years old, you're adult. But then this is what happened later on.
I mean like adult.
Hold on, I'm about to tell you what happened to me when I was almost 17 years old. So this is what happened. So then I was already in the church as a musician playing, doing drums, piano, organ, and all of that. So now that I think about it, it may have something to do with sort of what I'm doing now.
I'm gonna go ahead and send you my toys anyway. Back up there. I'm gonna go ahead.
I don't want
to send him the toys.
But Milan,
send him the toys.
I would know.
Thank you, Nikki.
I would know with my experience what I like and what I do not like. This is why I find it very interesting for Boosie to be talking about and totally possessed with somebody else the way that they have sex when he should know the way that he like to have sex. Why does the way somebody else have sex even matter? So
we've kind of moved on.
Know.
Well, hold on.
Wait, Fred, hold up, Fred. Let me get this out.
I want to hear the answer to Milan's question.
And then I gotta say my question before I forget, Larry.
Okay, go ahead. Do your question. I can remember.
How long has it been since you was practicing LGBT or was a former LGBTQ member? How long has it been?
Well, I was never LGBT whatever.
Well, when was the last time you enjoyed?
The last time that transpired was when the situation I'm about to tell you guys about. I was about 17 years old.
I really want y'all to get into Maddie's face. Her facial expression is given, you nasty, filthy motherfucker.
And this nigga will say whatever in defense. Who in a 12-year-old mind is an adult? When is 12 years old is an adult?
Well, being that, he travels a lot, in certain countries, and I'm not saying that he does this, but in certain countries, certain, individuals, they go in certain countries and be intimate with people that are adults, but in that country, if that makes sense.
Nah, I'm not buying it. A 12-year-old kid is a 12-year-old kid wherever they're at in the world. I don't care if they was in heaven or hell. They is a kid and they children. They cannot make decisions of any capacity. So being a 12-year-old kid going through what he did, 12, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, that was 3 years.
But like I was saying, in certain countries, certain individuals go to certain countries to commit these acts, so it's not criminally, but it's, I guess what I was saying was, the mind frame, you're thinking about, we're talking about here in US, we're not talking about over there in those third world countries where you get away with that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. And us, I like to, if I'm gonna say something, I like to have some facts behind it. he said that he was saved at 15, right? And the question they just asked him was, when he was in his adult mind, did he ever indulge in any homosexual activities after that? In this interview, this was in 2020, he's saying something about, when we started off, he's going to say something about him when he was 17 years old, which is 2 years after 15, when he had gotten saved, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then in this current interview he just did now, the one we just first watched, he did this year, he's saying that he was saved. This happened from 12, 13, 15 till 15 when he was saved, right?
Mm-hmm.
So come on now, let's make it make some type of sense, bro. If you knew that what you was doing was wrong when you got saved at 15, which means you didn't want to indulge in anymore as an adult mind, what happened at 17 that put you back there to go do it again? Was it that you was missing something? Or was it just that was your lifestyle and you like that?
You know what? I think it's the grooming. You know, he was groomed. He was taught the ins and outs when it was done to him. And so, like we say, you know, victim turned predator. And so he utilized the actions and the things that happened with him, because when you think about Levante was a musician in the church. And, you know, it went from certain little things like bulge watching, you know, crotch watching. Dion says, I don't like Milan. He came out on a reality TV show. Oh, was that Milan? No, that was Milan's boyfriend.
Yeah, that was his lover. I meant to type her in a comment and say that wasn't him. That was his lover.
Yeah, that was his lover. All right, let's get into this content. But I want y'all to look at Maddie's face. Maddie's got her nightgown on. You know, she got her cup of coffee, and she still don't seem like she's here for it.
Oh, okay.
And I'm
Okay, so
42 now.
So Larry, I got a question for you.
Mhm.
Craig not buying that. Craig not buying.
Shut up, wait, I gotta get this out. So Larry, when you was performing fellatio, did you get a rise in your panties when you was performing?
My panties. Let me say this, and this is probably pretty graphic, but that's the first time I found out what nut was, what cum was, because that did happen. But I did not know it was happening. Prior to that, what would happen?
So I'm gonna go ahead and send you this. I'm gonna go ahead and send you this. I'm gonna get your address.
I don't
go
want
ahead
it.
And send it to you.
I don't
All right,
want
I'm gonna go.
I don't
Just
want
have it.
Wait, I got another question for you, Larry.
Okay.
Hold on, I got another question for you.
Okay.
Okay, so when you perform fellatio and you did that,
Yeah.
after you did that, how did it make you feel?
Horrible. That didn't happen till see this is the thing. That happened when I was really, really, really young, where I can't hardly remember. I remember the smell, but then it happened again later on up in age. And that's how come I am very clear on what I like. I know I've had
at 17. At 17, when you did that, right? It didn't happen at 17, so you didn't.
It was around almost 13 years old when I had to do it.
So when you were 17, explain your 17 story again.
Okay, at 17 years old, mind you, I'm in the church at this time. I hadn't started preaching yet. But there was this church that was in town that was filled with a whole lot of young people. Where the church I was raised in was older people. So when I went to this church with young people, so I went. What's wrong with you? So when I went to the church with young people, there was young pastors that were there. And so everybody would go over there to their house. And it was a very musical church, and I was into music. So when I went over there to the house, my mom and them didn't like for me to go, but I went over there to the house and we would play games and stuff. One of the times I went over there, I was having trouble at my mom and them house.
Get to this damn story.
I always take the long route. I always take the long route. Look at man. Her mouth. But
I gotta get the tea because I gotta get the
so one of the times I went over there, they knew what was going on with my parents. I thought I was just drinking and eating regular stuff like normal. But I woke up to being sodomized.
Child.
So that's
you done
what
been penetrated too.
Yes.
So they raped you.
Yeah. Yes. And it was, and to this day, and I
So
put
all
it
this
on my
stuff is
platform.
going on in the church. You
To
get
this
raped,
day,
you sucking dick, you doing all this stuff in the church by the church folk.
That's exactly right. So why wouldn't I do the story on Octavia Lane and John Kelsey? Why wouldn't I do the story on the children that's been buried? Why wouldn't I do the story on the way that some of the homosexuals are treated in the church?
Because you was
Why wouldn't Tasha do the case on how homosexuals are being taken advantage of?
Why?
And why would you not know that somebody jumped on top of you when you sleeping and don't wake up? And why are we supposed to believe that you got saved at 15 when you went back to try it again at 17? And why do we believe that you're not gay? Why should we believe this? Because your story are not story and they're not adding up. And that's the thing about lies. You forget them. But the truth, you don't. It should have been the same. His story should have stayed the same. And everybody on that panel don't look like they believe a word you're saying. And why you always find yourself in the middle of homosexuals, having a panel with homosexuals? It's too many whys, Tulsa. Too many whys.
I agree. And it was the fact that he denied, this is the thing. I have a problem when, I don't knock nobody for liking what they like what you like, but don't drag somebody in, blindly and sit up here and take advantage of them. If you had experienced that, like when you were old enough, you should have sought help about those things, when you were able to, if you wanted, let's just say, for instance, until, when you got up in age and you moved out. But it doesn't seem like it was a problem because this was a generational dysfunction, generational um um mm, mm, mm.
Yeah. He didn't seek no help. He didn't bother. And it seems like he's protecting the people. If you're protecting the people that did this, it's just as much as you're protecting what was being done.
But if we're gonna talk about him saying, he wants to cover these stories about the Miss Byron or whoever she was and everybody else, we need you to give that same energy. Give us that same energy right now. How you was willing to talk in 2020, we need you. And this Larry and Levantre's stories are similar because it's the ages with the 14 and the 15 and the 17. It's like, did he re-traumatize him when he hit those certain ages? I mean, I wonder when Levantre turned 17, did he, was that a flashback of his 17? We have questions.
We have a lot of questions this man is clearly refusing to give us answers to. We want to know. We want to know why he feels like it's okay for, like you said, for us not to speak about it the way that he's speaking about all of this other people, all of this other stuff that happened to other people, the way he was sitting there bashing Kirk Franklin. Now is your turn, my boy. You need to sit down and take the same. But the thing about it is he's not sitting down. He's not shutting up. He's saying a lot more, which means he's even implicating himself the more that he says. You see what I'm saying? And that's like, bro, like you could have just easily keep calm. Why you keep talking and talking and talking and talking? That's just sad. And it shows the flamboyancy in him. It shows very much. It's very telling.
Where I come from.
Like that in the church.
So that happened to me in the church. I mean, I never connected it until sitting here in this moment, but I never really connected the two together. But who knows? But that's what happened.
So right now, so you consider yourself as a straight man.
He is. I know what I want.
Gosh. Okay.
If he say he's great,
but see, I know. But see, if you have not had that type of, in my opinion, now me and Darius Cook, I had him on my show. We had a going back and forth about this. I said I know what I like more than what you know, because he's a gold star gay. I said, so you haven't even had the experience. You don't really know what you would really like, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But I've had it. I'm married for 8 years. Let me
one more, and I'm telling you, y'all can do what y'all need to do.
Oh, they don't mind me.
So right now, at this moment, do you have urges to do it again? Do you find yourself going through the urges like, oh, I just want to do it so bad. Oh, I just want to put a cock in my mouth so bad.
No, there are terrible memories connected to that. Not at all. And I don't have.
I'm not telling you lie.
No.
Okay, the terrible memories connected to that. I'm lost. Because back then, it seemed like you wanted some shine on that panel. And once you finally got your shine, now you're, back then you was denying it, and now, you are embracing it. Yes, I've done this. Have I sucked? I have. Have somebody suck me? Have I got head from somebody? I have.
Yeah, he could have omitted the fact that he was good at it. He keeps on adding that I'm good at it. I'm telling you that with these deities, you have to embarrass yourself to a certain level just to get a reward. They're going to reward this man with a lot of riches and gold, but it ain't going to do nothing for him, for his soul, for his peace. He's still going to be bothered, because he says, oh, the thing about healing is, oh, you don't bother. You're still bothered. You're very much still bothered, because everywhere you go, you're singing this, and it's not like this story makes you look good. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's everybody's facial expressions for me, because we know our people, we know our people, and people be trying to sit up here. And this is a perfect example. I think I want to dissect this video. Because this right here in a nutshell, I mean, with the church, the men that do swing that way, sitting up here, just putting on this front when they can just be themselves and live their life and leave the people that aren't down with it, leave them out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's definitely not in any position to be leading anybody. He is he has no shame. He's a very prideful person, and that's not signs of a leader. He's sad. Like, the nigga's sad. Like, he is sad as fuck. And we need to recognize that shit, that he's a very sad person. He is hurt. I don't think Larry has what he has. Shamako, somebody he could spend the rest of his life with. But I think, the older you get, the more truth about you start to come out without you wanting them to come out. So I think the older he get, we're just gonna see them both get closer, and then have to really be there for each other. And we're gonna realize, yo, these people really have nobody to call on but themselves, which clearly presents that they've been lovers for years. No? What is that? which presents that they've been lovers for years. And it's just what it is. It is what it is, man. If anybody, and for that lady to come out and say, oh, I believe this, I believe that. If you believe that bullshit, if you believe this man's if you hear all this bullshit and you still gonna come out and tell me that you believe that he didn't do, you clearly need, you got some wax in your ears, or you got some molasses in your eyes or something. You need to, you might need to get dipped in that holy water to get baptized, because you need some cleansing to do all throughout your body, because it's obvious the man is a piece of shit and we can all see it.
Might be his story, Chief. If he
It is
had his story. So
let me say this. This is the reason why I sort of connected with Maddie, because in talking to Maddie, we've had these kind of conversations. I think these kind of conversations.
Would you put Maddie's penis in your mouth?
No.
Well, I don't have a penis. I got a dick. And he
what I am saying is, I like these kind of conversations. I mean, Kendall.
Would you fuck Maddie in her asshole?
I ain't got an ass. I got a pussy.
What you got, girl?
I got a pussy. PWASS. I got a pussy.
I'm enjoying the conversation. I think
because Larry, because I was once too. I was once touched when I was a child, but at an early age, I already knew what I was. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like the person that did that to me, I feel like he preyed on me because I was already, whatever. So that's why I was asking.
You was piano key.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What instrument did you play in the church?
I played the piano, the drum, and the organ. That's true. Yeah.
Go ahead, Craig. I'm done. Back to you, Craig.
Back to you, Craig.
Here's what I wanted to say. Like you were saying a moment ago, that somebody was trying to challenge you and say that, and this was a Gold Star gay, and he was trying to challenge you, and he had never been with women before.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to say to that was, and you said because you've had both, you understand which one you prefer, which one you like better. In my opinion, sexuality is not about which one you prefer, which one you like more, because sexuality is instinctive. It's how we're wired. It's not a choice. It's not a decision. It's not a choice of which one feels better. It's just how you're wired.
Right.
But let me say this though, Craig, and I agree with what you're saying for some people. But there are some people who make a choice and make a decision in what they want to do with their life.
So I got a question. At 17, 13, 14, you said all your life you was sucking dick. When did you realize that sucking dick was just not, like, when was you gonna say enough is enough? So you just gonna keep sucking the dicks until you, like, I don't understand.
I just made that. I just know myself. I mean, and even as I'm thinking
so you
about
was never
it,
gonna tell nobody that they was forcing dicks down your throat. That's all I'm saying.
Say it again now. I didn't hear you.
Oh, so did you? It is given. I don't never want to discredit nobody, and I'm not going to start today. But sis, when were you going to tell somebody? I don't know. This is draining. Monopoly. Oh, you want to catch up on this story? I'll be actually live tomorrow night. You want to come by tomorrow night?
Yeah, just hit me. Let me know. You're right. It is draining. Yeah, it's mad draining. Like, I'm over him. So everybody was actually starting to calm down on his. When did he do that interview that we listened to earlier?
The one that we listened to earlier, that was today.
Yeah, you see, I think the sensation was starting to die down, and he just had to bring it back up. I think it's an attention seeking shit for me, and he's using it to try to, like, like you said, send Skype and signal codes to Levantre.
Yes.
But I'm here. Just whenever you just hit me up, and I'll pull up on you.
Absolutely. I mean, my energy, just because we've entertained so much tonight, and when this that photo with those masks, it's just a lot tonight that has opened up my eyes to. But as I think what's really getting me is how this was once his life, and then Levantre's life, and I don't know, I'm just getting emotional because it is a case. It just seems like it's a case of, victim turned predator.
Yeah, and look at his goofy ass while he's sitting up there in that panel and they all laughing at him, not with him. They all clearly laughing at him because for one, he sound like a damn fool. And these are grown folks who's been in a life and they can read you from a mile away, you know, and they sitting there laughing at him like, bro, who are you kidding? And the fact that we cannot see his eyes, why that man always got shades on?
Well, um because he's not telling the truth, you know, and he can't look you in your eyes. His soul is just so corrupt, and it's been corrupt since a young age. Um,
Shaking my head. Shaking my head. That's all I could say. I'm just shaking my head.
but you know what, Monopoly? What's so crazy is what's crazy is I mean, it seems like he's still making. I don't know. I'm this right here. This has threw me for a loop, and I'm just gonna reset and come back tomorrow. But this right here was a eye opener, and I'll remember the timestamp. So where we at 15:32?
Nah, I don't look at it now because I don't remember neither. Just yeah, look at it and let's yeah, we need to go recharge. We need recharge for this.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. Oh, and listen, did you create a YouTube channel?
Yeah, I got one. This is my name, Monopoly with a
Okay.
Y.
Let me drop your channel while we are still here. Okay.
Yeah, like this man is I think he's borderline delusional. I think he's borderline delusional. Like he don't even wanna accept like he don't even wanna look at his own bullshit. Like, you know?
Yeah. It's this right here is a whole nother level. But I'm willing to jump into it and really bring shed light to it. But this reminds me of that Bishop Eddie Long. And you know what? When I was younger, I used to go to that church when I stayed in Atlanta. Um, and just to know the filthy acts that was going on, it's like people put their trust in these people, and we just got to remember these people are.
Wait. You have a static. You have a bad static too. So yeah, y'all, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning into Queen Tulsa channel, man. I already know this is the daughter to King Payne, the official King Payne. This is a family thing here. It's the Crown family, man. I want y'all to fix your crowns and don't be out here looking like this dude because he ain't got a crown. Crown bald because he don't understand the glory in his hair. So I want y'all to fix your crown, man. Everybody. But with that being said, Tulsa, I'm gonna go ahead and hop out. Thank you for having me. Thanks for all the love and support that y'all do show. Yeah, man. We'll be back at it again. We'll be back at it again for sure.